Dang it.
That was so good.
Oh, dang it. I was telling such a good
that was
story.
Like right at the apex, too. Thanks for the heads up, Andrew. Man. He's in the chat, too. We weren't looking at the chat, so that's why he's in it there. Yeah, see.
Oh, man.
That was such a good...
This is why we should never not see the chat. Why did I...
I don't know. That hasn't happened in a long time either.
No. I told such a good story.
I know. Well, maybe, again, we get that lip reader software going. And the problem is, too, if you, tell it again right now, I just heard it, so I'd have to, fake a good, I
was telling a story about how I tried to call out from work for my security job, and apparently a lot of people called out from work from there because when I used car trouble, they were like, all right, we'll just come pick you up at your apartment. And I was like, crap. So then I was able to not have to work the next day because I was like, well, my car is going to be in the shop and I have to I have to be there when I need to tow it to the shop because the tow guy's going to come. And then I got to be there because otherwise.
Meanwhile, where was your car again?
It's at Justin's house.
Yeah, okay.
The whole time.
But if they were going to come pick you up, what if they did? What if they said, okay, we'll come
I would have had to get a ride to Justin's house.
Drive your car up to there.
I don't know. And then I'd have to, and then I'd also
have to put your car in the shop for no reason.
I don't know. I had I don't know what I have. I would have taken it to a shop by Kevin's office.
Right.
Because then I would have gone up there and then
change.
And then they would have been like, what were you doing up in LA? I'm like, well, actually I live here.
Why are we mailing your paycheck somewhere else? You weave a web of lies. That's the problem.
But then because then I was at Kevin's office till 3 a.m, and I was like, because I would have had to go to work, but and so then the next time I had to call out, I made, because my friend's like, you always use sick.
Well, yeah.
And then the number one sick thing, the easiest sick thing. I mean, I can't be telling any things people don't know here, but explosive diarrhea, food poisoning, because they don't ask you after that, no questions.
Yes, I pooped my pants today. That's a pretty good one as an adult.
You just say food poisoning, diarrhea everywhere, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Loose stools is another good way to put it.
But no, one time at Target, my manager, I was freaking out, and I genuinely was not feeling well, but they wouldn't let me leave.
Okay.
So then I go into the bathroom, and my manager kind of followed me. So I'm like, I need to go home, because this is when I ended up in the hospital.
Right.
For the lymph node things. It wasn't lymph nodes. It was some nodes. I don't know. Lymph nodes, something, and they thought I had appendicitis, but I didn't, and it was some inflammation brought on by stress, because I'm always stressed out or something.
You fake a poo attack?
No, I sat there and gagged myself until I threw up, and then they were like, "Oh,
sounds like Brendan needs to go home."
And then I got to go home, and then my mom took me to the hospital.
Oh, look at this!
And then, he made the schedule and put it on a webpage.
So that's somewhere on the internet.
We need to share the crap out of this.
You should post this. Andrew, you should post this on the Comic-Con Palm Springs Facebook page. I'm serious. Post a link to it and say, hey, here's the correct schedule for
the podcast room.
For the podcast room. Because they're emailing me saying, no, you should. Because they're so, they're like, yeah, we just don't know how to update our website.
They don't know how
to cut and paste from a read-only document. So, they need help. I'm serious. I don't think it would step on toes. Just say, hey, here's the you can even say updated. Here's the updated schedule if you don't want to step on toes.
You won't be stepping on toes.
It won't.
Because they mean to update it. They just don't know how to.
Yeah. Just post it. If you don't, I could do it, but it would come better from someone that's not been calling them every day and emailing them constantly.
If I do it right now.
Yeah, you could just do it too. That's true. If Andrew doesn't, that way you don't have to put him on the spot.
No, put Andrew on the spot.
Put him on the spot. Actually, though, if everyone involved in this could just start posting it on their Facebook page, maybe they'd actually do something.
We're going to share it everywhere. I'm going to share the crap out of this.
Yeah, that's what we need. Now we're on the internet. Because, oh my gosh, God bless them. It's going to be fun. They're just giving us carte blanche, and that's what I'm saying oh my gosh about. It's going to be
They do have collectible lanyards, you guys.
Stan Lee on it. We're going to be there this very weekend.
What should I say? Here is the updated schedule for Mesquite D.
Yeah.
For the
podcast.
What's it called? What are they calling it?
If you look on there, it says it. Like podcast lounge or something like that.
Podcast
Central, maybe?
Central. I think that's what it is.
Don't click schedule. It's event info.
That's also, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be real nice here, but when you have a link that says schedule that doesn't take you to the actual schedule, the schedule is on another page that doesn't have the word schedule on it.
See, that's why it might not be such a disaster that it's wrong on here. Because how many people are finding it?
Who knows?
Okay. Podcast Central. Yep. Okay.
All right. For Podcast Central.
In Mesquite B. Is that what it was? Mesquite B, I think. Right?
In Mesquite. Squirtle.
It's gonna be good. There we go. That's perfect. Okay, hopefully.
But then that goes over here.
I know, but maybe they'll see it. Hopefully.
Trying to see what other people posted on here. If there's anything.
Any other stuff? See, that's awesome. Oh, thank you for making that, Andrew. They haven't, like, it's not like tons of posts on there, so maybe they'll notice it.
I mean, I think it's just like announcements.
Yeah.
People.
Okay, so that's good.
Well, then there's.
So they'll see that there.
Do you have any program or schedule? So.
We're not the only one.
At least we're not the only ones asking them about that.
Okay. So that makes me feel good.
Oh, wait. I was going to post it on my Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should. That's good.
Yeah, we know you made a ton of money.
Oh, yeah.
You made a ton of money.
What'd you get? You guys got to say.
Was it over $200?
I got to know. Yes.
Yeah, he made a lot of money.
Was it over 300?
It couldn't have been over 300.
Okay, between 2 and 3. Okay.
That's pretty good, though. He won. I think he might have been the most successful vendor of the whole, based on what we were hearing. Like,
was it all Disney pins or did you have other stuff too?
That was all for, because you pretty much, what else did you sell besides pins?
Mostly pins.
Yeah, it was almost all pins because he sold, like, he had some figures, but he only sold those for like $10.
Huh.
Yeah, he sold one toy, and it was all pins. But dude, when you get the way he was hooking them in with those pins was like amazing. Well, when
you get someone that wants those,
because he would be like, "Oh, what characters do you like?" And then he'd be like, "Look at this thing of dollar." He's got the dollar bin, and he just is sliding them out like a freaking crack dealer. And like he had people come multiple times. This one girl came, and each time she came, she spent like a lot of money.
That's awesome.
And then like I watched this one lady just drop a bunch. Like, yeah, like they love those pins, man.
That is cool.
And also, he's just a very friendly dealer compared to many dealers.
There are some like hard sell type guys there sometimes.
There's either hard sells or just like jerks.
Yeah, or they're like, nope.
Or Popeye.
Yeah. He's got like I didn't have that book the last time. He finally sold it.
Either that or he just threw it away.
Yeah, because it was an old torn up book. I'm like, dude, I'll give you like $2 or $3 for it. I'm not going to pay you whatever ridiculous money you want. You're not getting it on eBay. I'm so tired of the like, this is what it's going for on eBay argument. Like,
then sell it on eBay. Why are you selling it here?
Still didn't post it on your Facebook.
I know. You don't understand how I share things on Facebook.
No, I don't.
Not that.
This is interesting. So first you click
I have this little button and it does it like it's fancy. Okay. So cool. It like shares it in a fancy correct way.
Nice.
And then I just do not a group. My timeline.
Yeah.
Because that's like I've got like a lot of peeps.
Yeah.
Here is our Podcast Central schedule. For Comic-Con Palm Springs. Should I say, please note that the schedule on the website
is not the most current version.
Schedule on the... Well, I should link to their thing.
Yeah. if they start seeing this stuff pop up, maybe it'll help
Please.
spur them along.
No.
And they can cut and paste from yours.
Website is not current or up to date. What should I use?
I'd say up to date.
Up to date
As of now.
But that isn't that a redundant? It's not up to date as of now.
Well, I mean, they might update it tomorrow. Never mind. Just say it's not up to date.
I'll just put.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
It's fine because it's also this is kind of because them tagging them in it. And they'll see
so
that.
Maybe they'll see that and go
either that or maybe they don't know how to even check their Facebook.
It's possible. But all I'm hoping is if they start seeing it from other people, they'll go like, "Oh, okay. There are people that are interested in these things. We do need to get that going, you know." Because lots of people have been talking about it on lots of different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and look at that. I mean, that's a sweet lineup. That is some cool stuff.
Especially now that Derek's back in the game.
There you go. So you actually have popsicles proper.
It's going to happen whether Derek shows up or not. I'm going to use that as a threat.
Yeah.
Like, you better show up because we're doing it no matter what.
That's good.
And if you don't come, it's just going to be us talking about why's Derek not here? Let's all let's all talk about that.
So if he wants to prevent that, he's got to show.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to be good.
It's happening.
Oh, it's definitely happening. There's no question.
I love that, like, we've said that so many times. We're like, this is a real thing.
Well, this is the last show we'll say that because after this, it will have happened. So.
Or it won't have happened.
Well, it will. It's happening. It's happening. We're on the thing. So I'm just at least glad that there's physical or at least internet proof that I'm not like a total crazy person and just lying to you guys. Because for a while, I'm pretty sure everyone was like, Phil's just like saying stuff.
I knew you weren't because I was there when we met the guy.
Yeah, but there was other people I think that were like, no, Phil's just making this up. We're not in there. But
this was a way to lure people out to the desert.
Hey, come out. Meet me behind the convention center. I'll get you signed in. Bring money. Anyway, all right.
Bring garbage bags and towels
and shovels. It's for an art project.
Check.
Check. Check.
Why did we have to start so late? Why can't we start on time? Some energy that you bring.
I was here. I came.
Yeah, but then we talked for a while, and you gotta do your puzzle.
I only did like one piece tonight.
Yeah, but you can't not do one piece.
Well, while we were chatting, it's sitting there calling my name.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's like, Phil.
Hey, go do me.
I'm not finished yet.
Hotel puzzle. It's like hotel puzzle. Because I get puzzles at home all the time, but I like doing puzzles in different
all
settings.
About your hotel puzzle. We all know about your hotel puzzle. And you freaking out about the piece, and then it was in Luke's shoe.
Oh man, that was a close one. So glad Uncle Brendo caught the piece in the shoe. What would have happened?
Well, because you know how he's always like, "There's something in my shoe."
Yeah,
I'm like, sure,
no,
there. They dumped it out of the freaking puzzle piece.
He doesn't do that anymore. That was maybe
it's a weird phase.
He just was a something in my shoe phase for a long time.
Like all the time.
Yeah. Like no, there can't possibly like puzzle piece.
Or like if we did empty his shoes out, it would be like the tiniest grain,
Princess and the Pea type thing
of sand, or like a tiny little pebble, or like one little like sticker, like just like a stick thing.
Bug, to be fair.
Yeah, but like one tiny.
He doesn't do that. He hasn't done that in a long time.
That's good.
All right, we should start.
Oh,
start the timer.
Start your face.
You should start the timer. But it was not yet running, so we couldn't be recording.
Oh my gosh, that was really stupid. I hope everybody just heard that. Oh, I forgot to delete these. Whatever. Got enough space.
That stuff's party on, dudes.
I'm not paying for you, timer. Stop trying to
Don't you want to be able to like personalize your timer?
Personalize my timer. I think that's for like. I think like it's probably like really sophisticated like racing software, and you like display it on like monitors and stuff. That's what
you just use it in the bottom right corner of your computer.
Because it's like you can like change all kinds of crazy things about it. So I think it's like meant to like be used in a much more elaborate fashion.
I guess so.
X keys trigger switch. Like what the frick is that?
It's just counting down numbers.
Interleave last snap for 5 times. I don't even know what that means.
They just made that up.
That's just gobbledygook.
Dude, just write some words. It'll seem like we have more features.
You can use the Windows Media Player to export. Like, I don't understand. You can turn it into a clock.
Wow, because you don't have that right there in your computer.
Like, ooh.
Wow. Ooh. Oh, that's what time it is. But now you know the seconds.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's good.
Oh, wait, what just happened?
Countdown options.
Oh, that's where you set it.
Yeah.
Is that all I needed to do to set it?
Start.
Okay. No, but I mean, like, to set a new one. Because remember, that took a long time to figure out.
That's like the most confusing menu for his stopwatch.
All right. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Radio BrendoMan. I'm Brendan Creecy.
And I'm Phil Vecchio.
And we were just talking about getting ready for Comic-Con Palm Springs.
Right. It's starting this Friday. Saturday, Sunday.
It's happening.
Less than a week away.
Less than a week. We just put up the schedule.
Yeah, it's on
the real schedule and not the schedule on the Comic-Con Palm Springs website. That's not correct as of right now.
Put that in the Radio BrendoMan folder. We'll make a note to do that too, so it's there for listeners.
In the folder?
I mean, in the group on Facebook too.
It's on my Facebook page.
Well, I know, but just
it's on the Comic-Con Springs.
Just in case. I'm making a mental note.
We'll spread it around. Spread it around like wildfire.
Share it everywhere.
Share it everywhere, because right now, if you go on the Comic-Con Palm Springs page, the schedule is all weird.
We have an hour and a half Radio BrendoMan show and a 2-hour Mandarin Orange show.
Because Mandarin Orange show over 2 hours. At what point would Janelle just like walk and get up and walk off
how long do I have to talk in front of people? Like,
she's gonna be fine.
I know that. I'm not worried about it, but she doesn't want to do 2 hours. We don't need 2 hours. I don't know where 2 hours came from.
It came from the mind of a genius.
Yes. Actually, what I told him is I'm the most important, so make my thing the longest.
Yeah, you're sure. You're like, I don't know where this 2-hour Mandarin Orange show with a bunch of missing things came from.
I don't know. Sorry, other people that I helped book there.
Oh wait, Phil Con. What?
Well, you know, I mean, they should just
the Vecchio Lounge.
This year it's brought to you by Stan Lee, but I'm working for my name up there on the marquee next time. So brought to you by Phil.
Oh yeah, and like I don't understand how they're like this is no longer being advertised as Stan Lee's last appearance, because he's totally doing a ton of stuff at Kamikaze, which is also his convention.
It's like Kramer starting now.
Yeah.
The last one for October or for August.
Well, this year's San Diego Comic-Con was his last San Diego Comic-Con until next year.
2016.
It's like the electrical parade.
Right, yeah.
Which they're bringing back again.
He's going in the vault. For this year.
My joke about the electrical parade that I don't think anybody got was I was like, how many dads have been fooled by that electrical parade? Like, I know, because like most dads I know don't like parades. You don't like the parades.
Yeah, but the electrical parade.
But how many times but your kids and your wife are like, but it's leaving forever. That has been happening since, when was the first electrical parade farewell tour?
Something, 80s.
It's like in the 80s. They've been doing that forever. Yeah. It's like that furniture store.
Yeah, going
out of every furniture store.
Yep.
And like, at what point are people just like?
That's their mode.
But people still buy it.
I know.
I've watched that stupid parade a few times thinking it was going to be the last time.
To be fair, the music, I have a great nostalgia for that music. I don't care about sitting and watching the.
But I also think it's crazy that they're already mothballing this like other parade that they spent a fortune on.
Which one?
The Paint the Night.
Oh, the one at Disneyland?
Yeah. that is a lot like the electrical parade, just like newer.
It's like newer technology. Yeah.
So now they're like, we don't want this. We want the old one from the 70s.
But here's the thing: they're just rotating it out. I bet you if it was
so now this is because now it's the Paint the Night farewell tour,
and then it'll be the whatever the next thing is farewell tour.
Well, they've never brought back Light Magic.
Yeah, but Light Magic was bad, right?
Yeah, apparently this was good. I mean, I watched part of it. I don't like that song. That Paint the Night song is annoying.
Here's my thing.
Somebody was playing
Which
it.
one?
It was Anthony's song on his show. Yeah, I know.
Owl City. I like that song, but regardless, I don't care
like
about parade.
One song over and over.
Well, that's true. They could mix it up a little bit, but I've never understood the appeal of parades ever. I had a bad parade experience as a kid.
This is why it's like your fair experience.
It is like the fair. So the Rose Parade is like the New Year's Rose Parade.
Yeah,
huge
but that's
deal.
like a nightmare.
Okay, well, when I loved watching it on TV with my grandparents.
Yeah.
And so we'd watch it every year. And one year, my parents were like, you know what, we're going to go to it.
Ugh.
So we go down. We went the night before.
Everybody I know that's actually gone to the Rose Parade is like, never go to the Rose Parade.
So we went the night before. We camped out. We got a spot right on the street. We slept on cement.
Oh, I remember. I've heard this story.
Yeah. But just in case. It's been a while.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
It was a part of the parade where the floats weren't even like
That's part of it. That's part of it. So yes, we discovered
they like all collapsed or something.
It was right before an overpass. So all the things had to fold down before it got there. So all the stuff was like closed up as it went past us.
And plus, a bunch of people came right.
We woke up in the morning and everyone had like crowded out in front of us, and so we were like couldn't even see. So we're like back behind 20 people. And the stuff's all folded down. I'm like, I could see better on the TV, and it was just.
But that's not. But how does that translate to I hate all parades?
Because it just I don't know.
But other parades are fun.
But they're not. It's just you're standing there and something goes by you. Big deal. Why don't I go to look at it?
But you're looking at it as it's going by you.
I gotta wait in line for something to like go by me.
People waving at you and dancing. I can wave at
people without waiting in line.
And floats.
I don't know. Just don't care.
All right.
I'm an old grouch bike like that, I guess, too. I mean, if my kids want to watch one, that's fine.
Andrew went, and he had seats in the stands.
Well, yeah, but see, I feel like you have to reserve that ahead of time somehow.
It's like the Oscar stands?
Something like that. Like, I think there's like a lottery.
Do you know, like, the lottery? Yeah, because it's probably like the Oscars. Because those Oscar bleachers, I remember I tried for like 5 years to get Oscar bleacher tickets, and it's like crazy. And even if you do win, you have to get there. It's like just like that. You still have to get there like stupid early and like sit there all day. But I like really wanted to. There was a period where I'm like, because I also applied to be a seat filler for a while.
Right.
And then I was like, what if I do get it? Then I'd have to like get a tuxedo.
That's true.
And like, but I never got it.
Right. But you would have to.
But then I would have to get a tuxedo. Because I remember like Cameron and Erica did it once.
Yeah.
And like, I really wanted to do it. But I also, but again, like getting those bleacher tickets.
Corey Cockle does that. She still does that, I think, where she goes to like different award shows and does seat filling. I don't know. So ever since then, I just don't care as much. I don't know.
I found out WWE uses seat fillers for like the front row and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like when people get up to go to the bathroom, they don't want it to look like on the TV side, on the camera side. They don't want it to look like the seats. People aren't in the seats.
So could you apply for that?
Well, it's like you have to do it through the arena, and it's like it's pretty much like a set group of people. Like depending on where you are. Like I heard in LA, I think in LA they actually use like a extras agency.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
They want
pro people sitting there.
I guess.
Like in the front row.
Because I was reading Reddit posts from people that do it.
Huh.
And like they said sometimes if it's like for somebody if it's for like a celebrity guest that only is on there for like one match, and then you just get to be in the front row for like the whole rest of the time.
That's cool.
So like that would be awesome. Yeah, so like anything else exciting going on with you this week?
Well, it's been, we're in school now.
Busy, nose grindstone.
Did 2 birthday parties this weekend. This weekend was nuts. Like, I know you guys went and did your thing, which we'll talk about later. I saw you had your family game night.
Family
game night, but that was after 2 birthday parties on Saturday.
So this is where I don't think I could handle being the parent of a kid, because my nightmare scenario is like kids' birthday parties.
Oh.
Like even at Audrey and Luke's birthday parties, like sometimes I'm just like, I don't belong here. Like, because like I'm like people like, but Derek was a guest on another podcast. Yes.
Oh, what show?
So he can do other podcasts. It's apparently not his.
Not his own. He's moonlighting.
Hey, I've been on other podcasts. So I don't have any problem with that. But he didn't like. He just dropped it.
Just did it.
But it's fine. I mean, I'm glad. I forgot what the podcast is. I should look that.
Find out.
No, I can look right now because it's on his Facebook. But like, how do you operate at these kid parties? Because I know you hate weddings because you hate small talk.
Yeah.
What is the scenario at these kid parties?
Well, here you go. He's got it right here.
Does your favorite movie suck?
That's the podcast.
And he talked about Dick Tracy, which sounds awesome because if you don't know, Dick Tracy is one of Derek's all-time faves.
I guarantee you, he said it does not suck.
And you should check it out.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It can be much worse or better. It depends on who you're with. So like the first one was for Luke's friend, and it's
like the kids go off and play, and then what do you do?
Well, fortunately, I'm friends with several of the parents.
Okay.
And, because I know them a lot from just hanging out in the mornings and stuff. So it's fine. Like that's not so bad. I'm not like meeting, third cousin Jeffrey, who I've got to talk to about his, whatever, his Alzheimer's. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like you just getting those.
You got
weird,
third cousin Jeffrey from Seinfeld.
Oh, maybe so.
Your cousin Jeffrey is in the forestry department.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's just like in my brain. But anyway, so that one, that's not so bad. Then the second one was a pool party. And so that's like a whole nother level of like intense. But it's
you're like outside in the sun.
So that one, Janelle and I, we just sat near the pool because we were like basically the only adult supervision for a lot of it. So for the pool parts, and we want to make sure nobody drowns or anything. So we just kind of hung out by the pool and stuff.
You don't want those kids to drown.
So that was easy. And I mean, I know some of the people there too, but we actually didn't mingle too much in that one just because of that. So it was painless. It wasn't bad, but you're right. They're not my favorite activities.
I don't know. I feel like by the time my kids are 11, I'm like, bro, party's done.
Well,
over.
So the first one
parties.
We were at birthday parties for 6 hours on Saturday, then drove up to Big Bear, did 5 hours of games on Saturday, and then 5 hours more on Sunday.
Matthew finally won at Risk.
Matthew won at Risk. Yeah, each person won at least one game, so that was pretty cool.
But you picked all the games.
But yeah, I got to dictate everything. I got to say how long we played it.
The rules.
I got to set the rules.
You were the rules lawyer.
I got to do everything. I was in charge.
Feel drunk with power.
Here's the thing: Risk in particular, because my mom hates Risk, and Janelle's not a big fan.
A lot of people don't like Risk.
I know it's a very divisive game. I realize, but
which is crazy because it's awesome.
Much, and that was I'm like, if I don't have them play Risk now, I'll never get to play.
Although I can only be the black team.
Why is that?
I thought it was
just
superstitious. Because I'm colorblind.
Oh, okay.
And I start moving other people's pieces.
I can see that. Well,
which has happened every time I play Risk, and I'm not the black team.
Well, if you play with me, I just help move them around anyway. So, because I did I planned it ahead of time so that I could do a speed round on it, because I knew people would get grumpy, and the rule was everyone had to play with a good attitude no matter what I made us do. That was written
You're
into
the boy in the Twilight Zone episode.
Into the deal.
You're everyone's like, happy thoughts. And did you send them to the cornfield?
No, I just had my phone out, and if someone went on their phone for too long or went in the bathroom, I'd stop the time. So I made sure I got my maximum amount.
My gosh! And everyone just big smiles.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, bad attitude.
You're the kid.
Yeah, but I won that privilege. So there you go.
Because you lost a bunch of weight.
Because I lost weight. And our next weigh-in is not this weekend, because this weekend is coming.
This is another round?
The next round ends the following weekend.
How much money do you get this time?
Same deal. It's the first place is $350 plus a game day.
That's a lot of.
Second place is $100 and third place is $50, and then everything else loses.
But if you and Janelle both win, that's you're getting some
well, in the
dollars.
last two rounds, we both came in first and second place. So,
man, your family needs to step it up.
Well, so here's the thing.
I know you're listening.
This time, we're doing the same, but the next time we've come up with a different arrangement because I think everyone's tired of paying. So we're still going to do the game day, but instead of just straight up money, the runners up all have to buy food and snacks and stuff for the game day, so that it kind of spreads it out a little bit more.
People are tired of just giving you guys.
Basically, I think they're tired of just showing up at our house and handing us cash. But they all. I mean, I'm not forcing anyone. It's their option.
That's exciting. I mean, like you said, we'll talk about it later. But I went to the LA comic book sci-fi con in Los Angeles with Andrew and Derek and Derek's friend Pat.
Yeah.
and we had a good time. And and Andrew sold a ton of Disney
cleaned
pins.
up.
He did well. Actually sold things this time,
which is a big step
which
up from
again
last
we'll talk about all this. But Derek did all right.
Good.
And everybody, I mean, it was fun.
To me, those things are just fun. It's fun to hang out, and if you can make some money back, sweet.
And then I just think about, I'm glad I'm not making a living doing this, because that's got to be real stressful, because it's like super feast or famine.
Right. If you're depending on that, I can see that being super stressful. For us, it's just like, hey, let's go blah, blah, blah.
Well, when you see these guys and they're like just filling multiple carts full of, and like 50 long boxes, and they got the big giant vans, and then if you don't sell a ton of stuff,
because I could see someone not buying anything from one of them,
and you're just like that. That's like really like you're screwed.
Yeah.
But I had a good time, and then I don't know, it's still been pretty hot, but it's finally cooled off. Actually, last night it was super cooled off, and people were actually outside, and it was weird seeing everybody outside. It was like we all came out of our caves. There was like people like barbecuing, kids playing, because it was like the first like non-super hot. Over 100.
It was warm, but not
but
like
it's
crazy.
It's definitely like it was I think it was like 90 in like San Bernardino, so like
it was like 88 up here, something like that.
And like which still like I actually like did the like eat my lunch in my car, listen to podcasts.
Right.
I mean, it was warm, but it wasn't like I'm gonna die because it's 109 degrees right now.
Well, and see, I'm driving around in the truck almost every day, which has no AC also, so we're in that same. I'm glad we're not dying every time we drive somewhere.
Ugh.
So that's been good.
Yeah, so that's good. And then other than that, I mean, not much going on. I just hanging out.
Yeah.
Watching some wrestling. Watching some other shows, which again we'll talk about. But right now we got some reader mail.
That's right.
People finally wrote in some reader mail.
That's good. This one, I read this one, and it made me laugh out loud, so I'm excited about this.
This is from Mark Bolton.
Yes.
And he writes, "Hey, guys, Mark Bolton again. Because the subject of this was, I don't want to mess it up, because even the subject was amusing.
Well, our last episode
title was our last episode title was Head of the Family. So the subject of Mark's email was, I'm trying to stall as like Head of the Family Circus, because we talked about that. Should have been the episode title.
He beat us to it.
He was better. His was better. He one-upped us.
Yep, you win that one.
And he writes, "Hey guys, Mark Bolton again. I had to fess up. I was the one that bought the film Head of the Family from the Amazon segment. We talked about this last week. There's a great bad movie podcast called The Flophouse. I have to check this out.
Yeah."
And one of the hosts has a trifecta of favorite movies: Head of the Family, Castle Freak, and The Invisible Maniac. All top caliber films. I want to watch all three, but they're so good they're not available on Netflix. And you got to pay $3 or $4 to rent them from Amazon Prime or my cable company. I'd rather just pay another $3 and own a physical copy forever until it disintegrates."
True. Although it'll last you quite a while.
So I think I want a copy of D.C. Pearson's novel. He thinks he won a copy.
Well, he definitely...
The Boy Who Couldn't Sleep and Never Had To.
He gave that away. I think that was right.
No, I gave him a different one.
Oh, okay.
I gave away...
it was another D.C. Pearson, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Crap Kingdom.
Oh, that's right.
Because...
No, wait. Was that... I think maybe that was one he got from a gift exchange.
Yeah,
I think that's what that was.
Maybe.
I feel like maybe even...
From one of us.
I think maybe I got that for him.
Maybe.
I can't remember. I think that's what that was. It was a gift exchange.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure.
And he says, I finally started it because I read it and loved it. I think I actually talked about this was back in the Begged and Boarded days, because I met DC and I'm like, and he's like, I have a book. And I was like, oh, I'll read your book. And he's a good guy. And anyways, so he says he finally read it. I'm about 100 pages in and I'm really enjoying it. He captures being a weird, nerdy high school kid really well. It's also a really interesting premise. That's where I made Derek angry, because he's like, what's it about? And it's about a boy who can't sleep and doesn't have to. He's like, that's the title of the book. I'm like, that's what it's about.
Sums it up pretty well.
And stuff happens.
Yeah, okay.
So,
okay, this part is what had me laughing out loud. This is fantastic.
This is really great. I've got a fat alert for you guys. Over the weekend, my wife and I went up to Chicago to see comedian Maria Bamford, who's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Do stand-up. The theater we were at is really old, especially the seats. I feel like that's true of a lot of things in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's what happens when you live in the old city.
It's true.
I was sitting for about 2 minutes, resituated myself in the seat, and snap. I broke some screw out of an extra support thing. I kept my full weight off the back, but the seat kept creaking and moving slowly back during the entire comedy show. Should have complained. Maybe they would have given me like VIP seats or something.
That's true.
It didn't really break much, but I guess that's also, excuse me.
I'm so bad I broke the thing. I'm sorry.
See, we had a problem at Smogcastle where sometimes the seats would break, but not because of people.
Because the seats are old and junky.
Well, not that they were old and junky, just not that they were not quite installed correctly.
Weren't you part of that team?
I was not
complete.
I was around, but it wasn't even the installation team's fault, really.
Okay.
It was I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I'll leave it at whose fault it was. Anybody that's aware of the situation can do the math. I kept my full weight off the back seat, but the seat kept creaking and moving slowly back to the entire comedy show. It didn't really break much more, but God help the next heavy person that sits in it. So, alert for the person that goes to that theater in Chicago. Don't sit in Mark's seat.
I just love the visual of Mark like slowly tilting back further and further through the whole thing. Like, what was the person behind him thinking? Like, what is this guy doing? And then like constantly being.
What if Maria Bamford's like looking right at him and he's just like,
because what? He's living in constant fear that it's gonna just collapse at any moment. I love that.
Have you ever broken a chair?
I don't think so.
I haven't either, and that's like my. I have like. Fear. It's definitely a fear because I've seen it happen. I'm always aware of it, and I am cautious. Like I've avoided breaking chairs because I'm like, that chair's gonna break.
There's many times when I'm like, no, I'm fine standing.
Yeah.
They're like, no, and I'm like, I'll stand.
Yeah.
It's okay. In fact, at the birthday party this weekend, at the pool party, Janelle's like, oh, come sit by me on this bench, and I'm like, I don't think so. I'm gonna stand up because it just had that look. I don't want that. I do not. I'd rather stand up through an entire party than be the guy laying on my back saying I just broke this chair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that story.
Oh, and then he says, anyway, and that was it. His email got cut off.
Oh, I thought maybe you just didn't cut and paste it.
I did not.
That was, okay.
I will, as proof.
Okay.
I will show Phil the proof, but I mean, maybe it's like Mad Libs.
That's true. Love the everything.
Cookies.
Yeah, love the
cookies.
Love the cookies.
Love the Phil and
love
Brendo.
The pizza toots.
Yeah.
Oh, all those things.
Or
maybe he was just signing off. Love the Mark Bolton, and he forgot to put his name.
He didn't even put that.
Well, maybe that's what it's going for.
I'd like to think. Well, maybe he
wanted us to make up a cool nickname for him to fill in for his sign off there.
M-Dog.
Is that a cool name?
Sure.
Okay.
Marky
Mark and the Bolton Bunch?
No.
No, M-Dog is better. That is. Love the. It's cut off there.
Just love the world.
Love the.
You
know, I do. It's an interesting word.
Loves the word the.
What part of speech is that? I mean, how do you define the?
Well, Mario is back.
What does Mario say?
He's not mad at me, apparently.
Oh, good.
I was a little concerned.
He's got thick skin.
If you guys were to interview Werner Herzog, but limit it to 5 questions each, that's not really limiting.
Okay.
But only allowed to do it in a Werner Herzog voice. What would that sound like? And what would you ask?
First of all, it would sound bad because I think I cannot do without even listening to him, I don't know if I could even duplicate it.
Phil, it's because it's kind of like here's what I like to think. Now that I've watched some more Herzog movies,
okay,
it's almost like imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's like 80.
Yeah, but he's also like lived other places, so it's like like hints
a
of
little
other
bit more. But it's because there's times where he's like, and then it's like, and it's prime, and I gotta like. He gets all like excited.
What was it like to move the boat over the land to the other part of the water?
That sounds a lot of Arnold. That's too much.
That's
Arnold.
what I'm saying. There's no way that would be terrible.
Well, I sometimes do because when we talk to him and he was like, I don't care about Comic-Con. I'm just here with my wife. I
I'm very intrigued by what is happening with these people. There's so many people. My greatest regret, because I was just so in awe of what was happening, that I'm kind of, my immediate instinct was like, we got to get the photo and get out of here. We just got to leave. It was almost like Grizzly Man, just like leave. Like it's because, but I also, knowing, especially what I know now of Werner Herzog, I'm like, I'm pretty sure we could have sat there and chilled with Werner Herzog for a while. And he was very much like, he was so chill.
Yeah.
I was like, I almost wanted to be like, can you be my grandpa? Like,
well, I also think we were probably in a minority of people that recognized
nobody knew who he was.
I don't think anyone else knew that he was someone to even recognize.
And because afterwards people were like, who was that?
Yeah, who you guys just talking
about? I'm like, you don't, and I'm like, we don't deserve to know.
You don't get to know. You don't get to know.
But anyway, I would be okay, so I would ask him, I would definitely ask him, I don't know, there's so much things I want to ask him.
That's tough.
What? I'd be like, this is bad. I can't do this.
Okay, we demonstrated the voices. You don't have to do it all.
I would ask him like what, because he does both documentary and scripted films extremely well, and I'm like, because now we'll see. Because like he was just on Marin, and Marin asked him like so many awesome things. But I guess like asking him like, how do you decide what to do and when is it like, all right, I'm gonna do a documentary, or like, all right, I'm gonna do this thing, and then like, what is the process like when you're doing that? Because like, how do you separate that, and how do you do both? But he did say that like he writes his documentaries. Like there's a script,
right? I mean, with any documentary, there's at least.
But especially with him, like he basically admits that he like will play with reality a bit and create situations.
Well, and here's where my questions would come in, because I think my favorite thing that he's done is the Loch Ness one. What's it called? In Search of Loch Ness? No, I can't even remember the title of it now. But where he goes and looks in Loch Ness, because that one is totally like a mix of like, is it at all documentary? Is it completely acted? So I would just ask him all about that, because first of all, I think not a lot of people have seen that one, and second of all, like. It's just, I love like, cryptids and the whole like stuff. So what is his take on that? Does he really think something was there? Or, like, I would love to peel that stuff apart. Plus, how much of that was he acting? How much of what's on screen is really him? That's the kind of things I would want to know. Yeah. But I would say it all in a terrible accent if that's what I had to do.
I would ask him, how awesome was it to be on Parks and Recreation?
Yes.
And how fun was that? And also, like, how do you choose? Because he's got to get offered like a ton of those kind of, and like how do you pick when like you get offered all this stuff? And what was it like? Like I would ask him like, who is more intense, you or Nick Cage? And when you guys like join forces together, how did the world not explode? Like your forces combined, and then like, is the reason why you haven't worked together again because the world would explode?
The universe has had enough.
Like, because that was just. Have you seen that? Like the what was it called? Crap. The movie that they did. Bad. Oh, now I'm gonna.
I know that it happened, but no, I did not see it.
Hold on. Because I watched it and it was a Bad Lieutenant. Bad Lieutenant.
Yes, I'm aware of it, but I did not see it. No.
And it was amazing.
Because it's also one of the best subtitles. Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. Like, that's quite a.
And then like, what makes you choose that over like however many? And then like, and was it just so he could work with Nick Cage?
Maybe he just likes Cajun food.
Maybe like New Orleans.
Yeah. I can see that.
And then I would ask him, like, what were his, like, because I would have loved to have followed up with him, because that was, like, I think, like, on a Friday, and I would have been like, what were your impressions of Comic-Con?
Right. What do you think now?
And, like, you should do, because, like, Morgan Spurlock did a documentary about Comic-Con. What would your Comic-Con documentary look like?
It would be amazing.
I can't wait for his new movie. You know what his new movie? It's all about the internet, and, like, is it good? Is it bad? Okay. What is it doing to us as a society? It sounds amazing.
Here's the thing. with a voice like his, I don't care what his
Oh,
documentary. I would just
I'll
listen to him talk about anything.
Which I do. I'll just put it on. Although I'll get to it, but I tried to watch. He didn't direct it. They just used him as a voiceover. Have you ever watched Dino? It's called like Dinotopia or some Dinotopia, I think is what it's called.
I've watched part of it because it's like a mini series, right?
Yeah, but it's
I've
like it's
watched
weird because it's like part documentary, part just like fictionalized story about these dinosaurs.
Because that's how the book is. Have you ever read the book?
No.
Oh, the book's amazing. It's presented like a historical document about this real place where people live with dinosaurs.
So
and it's like a collection of like letters and stuff. It's real cool.
Well, and it starts out. I mean, it's great because it's like Werner Herzog going like 10 million years ago, the and he's like narrating it. Right. But then there'll be these long parts of just like these dinosaurs doing stuff. And there was a scene I can't handle animal movies where animals are in peril or dying, and apparently that includes dinosaurs. Even because there's a scene like at the very beginning where like it's this mother like I think velociraptor or something, and like there's a bunch of little baby velociraptors, and then one of them goes up and tries to fight a brontosaurus, right. And then the brontosaurus just like shatters this baby velociraptor's like skull, and it's like sitting there slowly dying alone because it ran off. Right. And then the mom comes and finds her, and it's like super graphic. Like it is super like this like freaking baby velociraptor's like jaws like hanging off, and I'm like, and it's like all whimpering, and I'm like, and I had to turn it off. Like I'm like bawling. I cannot handle this.
Did you think Werner Herzog would be involved with something that was just like cutesy and sweet?
I don't know, but I was like, it's dinosaurs, and I'm like, why am I caring so much about this little baby velociraptor?
Are the bad guys.
But I couldn't handle it. It was just like I walked out of the bear as soon as like the mom died. I was like, I'm out.
The bear, they tortured us with that in school. I mean, that's just mean.
Well, I can't handle animal movies because they all die or bad things happen and animals in peril.
We were stressing throughout all of Pete's Dragon. I know. Which we won't say what happens either way, but I just know you were sitting the whole time like,
I don't like
what's gonna happen? What are they gonna do?
I don't like that. I don't like it. I get stressed out.
I know.
I cannot handle animal movies. Like I can't because they all like, especially the ones you watch when you're a kid, they just really mess you up bad. Yeah. Old Yeller. You know, where the red fern grows.
The animals are never gonna live.
Except for Incredible Journey and Milo and Otis. Except in Milo and Otis, they didn't die in the story of the movie, but they sure as heck died in real life.
That's right.
And then when you find that out, oh my gosh! See, don't look that up on the internet. Don't.
I hated that movie in school though. They showed that like all the time.
Their accents are so cute.
Sick of it though.
The like, little pug.
Every time we had a rain day or a snow day, it's like, all right, Milo and Otis. I'm like, we already watched this.
There were hundreds of Milo and Otises.
I know, not anymore.
It's terrible. Okay.
All right.
But yeah, so like I don't know. I just those are the ones we like. It's an Old Yeller. Like I think I already said that one, but like they're all horrible.
We all know the animal's gonna die.
Why do people watch those?
Because it's an easy, like, they know they can get to that heartstring immediately.
Ugh.
Like
I can't handle it.
But they know it's going to work every time. What about the end of Harry and the Hendersons?
Oh my gosh.
Harry leave.
Oh.
We call that whenever there's a part in a movie where
I got mad at my mom where I'm like, why did you bring me to this?
Well, we started watching that with our kids at one point, and I was like, oh, I don't know if we're ready for this. We kind of like shuffled it off and did something else.
Have they seen Old Yeller?
No, not yet.
When do you show them Old Yeller?
I don't know. Like,
because I saw it like way young.
Because they showed on Disney Channel and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. But whenever there's like at the end of a movie when someone's got to make the animal leave and they throw a rock at, just go.
Well, dude, like even
we call that the Harry and the Hendersons ending.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, like the
Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man. Yeah. That's 2 ants that died from Disney.
The second you saw that ant in Ant-Man, you knew that thing's dead.
Yep. Once it's got a name, that's it. But what does Disney have against giant ants? That's 2 movies.
Giant ants are, when you think about the idea of a giant ant, it is terrifying.
But they're cute in both of them.
But they're also capable of.
It's true. It's terrifying.
I don't know. All right,
What else does
so
Mario say?
and then this I completely agree with.
All right.
Phil writes he says to Phil.
Okay, two.
Phil, the Get Along Gang beats the Shirt Tails hands down.
I disagree.
Get Along Gang was awesome.
Was great. But the Shirt Tails, first of all, they were like a spy ring that lived in a tree in the park.
The Get Along Gang lived in a freaking boxcar.
Yeah, that's like weak.
That boxcars are cool.
So they had computers and stuff, and they had all the animals. They wore shirts, and then they got the crotchety old guy. They got the crotchety.
They wore shirts.
You got the crotchety old guy that always tries to chase them
down. The Get Along Gang went on missions and solved mysteries.
But it was like all like cutesy putesy. They Get Along, and Shirt Tails is cool. Plus, Shirt Tails was harder to find because it was only on the USA train.
Before that, it was on Saturday mornings.
No, that's what I mean. But it only didn't show all the time. It would show like every fourth week. It was like the Zelda to Mario.
No, it was on when it was on normal TV.
It wasn't on very much.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it had an irregular airing schedule.
Once it was on USA, it didn't originate on USA.
It was very briefly on Saturday morning.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. So it was really hard to watch. Whereas Get Along Gang was like on all the time.
That's because it was way better.
No, disagree.
I don't know. I just remember I had a Get Along Gang like play set that was freaking awesome, and all Shirt Tails had were those like little figures.
Yeah, just because they didn't get as wide. Just
because
they weren't.
Their
like
figures were like Monchi Cheese.
Just because they weren't as well.
And Monchi Cheese
merchandising
sucked.
Just because they didn't have as good merchandising. They were a small. It was a small.
I remember my mom. I think I have this thing against Monchi Cheese because my mom's like. I remember my mom came home from a garage sale. She's like, "I got you something." And there's like a bunch of Monchi Cheese.
The monkey guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want these.
But they had shirts and they all had like
they
different
had
animals.
Shirts. I love that. That's your
I
thing.
wanted a Shirt Tail shirt so bad.
Shirts.
I'm just telling you, I liked it. Plus, I think maybe it's because I'm older. Maybe like I had a different affinity because I always thought of the Get Along Gang as like the baby show. Like my little brother liked to watch it, and I was like, I'm too cool for that. I'm watching Shirt Tails. I'm not.
Shirt Tails was just.
I never like pit them against each other. I never had thought of them as like in competition. Well, but I don't know.
The Get Along Gang is a gang.
That's true. See, also that's bad. Shirt Tails.
Whatever. Bloodhound Gang. They were good.
I know, but still gang. Shirt Tails didn't have to call themselves a gang to fight crime.
Well, obviously, the best crime fighters are the ones called gang.
I don't know. What about Scooby Doo? They fight crime and ghosts.
Scooby Gang.
They're not called Scooby Gang.
Fred said, "Hey, gang," all the time.
Yeah, but they weren't called Scooby
They called
gang.
each other gang.
Yeah, but they weren't called gang. They called each other that, but they didn't have to put it in the title.
They were called Mystery Incorporated.
Yeah, see, Inc. That's cooler.
They were a business.
Yeah, Mystery Inc., Shirt Tails. I like those.
Speaking of that, if you haven't watched Scooby Doo Mystery Inc., it's great, and you should watch it. If you watched it, it's amazing. I think it's still on Netflix. If it's not, seek it out because it's great. Anyways, the third thing that he says is with Gary Marshall dead, Penny Marshall presents Bat Day. Like at Disneyland? Is that Bat Day? Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe.
Bat Day? Is that a thing anywhere else?
Maybe. Or maybe just like Batman?
Batman Day?
I don't know.
Well,
not sure.
Thank you for the letters. Yeah, they're brother and sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just figured, but I didn't
Why
know.
do you think Penny was in Gary's show?
I guess that makes sense. Well, I don't know. It could have been wife. His daughter, I don't know.
Brother, sister.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you guys for writing. Keep it up. Send us stuff our way.
BrendoMan@gmail.com or go to our website.
All those things.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I've been thinking about lately?
What?
How easy it is to listen to podcasts on Stitcher.
It's super easy.
I've been just thinking about that. I was walking along.
That's what I think about.
You know, it sure is easy to listen to podcasts on Stitcher.
Why am I not doing it right now?
I don't know. Why am I just walking and thinking this when I could be listening to someone else think for me?
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You just hit play.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately.
They have this really weird ad right now where it's like this really boring ad saying it's like Adobe Acrobat has like it's for like they make these marketing white papers or like marketing white papers are boring. So you can listen to them. And I'm like, if this is the voice for your audio white papers, this is even more boring than reading a white paper. You're not selling me on these white paper, audio white papers, because this is like the most boring thing I've ever heard.
Well, I have a rant about Adobe later on today, so we can talk about Adobe even more. Adobe charging me any more money.
Well, they do.
I know. It's
with
terrible.
Their freaking Creative Cloud.
Ugh. I'm so tired of hearing. Okay, well, we'll get to that. Stitcher's great. Use the code BrendoMan Give us a thumbs up. Maybe write a review, comment, something.
Go to radiobrendo.com, click the Stitcher link, do all that stuff. Rate and review, subscribe on iTunes as always. That helps us out. Tell your friends.
We got a new iTunes review like just this last week, and it was very nice.
I don't just say that. I mean, I put that a lot. Tell your friends. We're not just being like, that's not like just our catchphrase.
Right. We make a shirt that just says tell your friends.
No, really, tell your friends.
Yeah. That'd
Please.
be cool.
If you knew the source of unlimited water and your friends were thirsty, you'd tell them, right? Well, we're the source of unlimited entertainment for your friends.
You couldn't listen to our back catalog in its entirety, I don't think.
I mean, you could. It would just take a long time.
It would take a long time. It would take a long time.
Longer than...
It took us years to put it together, so I don't know.
We've talked a lot.
But
you know who else talks a lot is all the Benview Network podcasts.
Right. Many of which are going to be at Comic-Con Palm Springs.
So many of them.
Represented there.
Not all of them. We wish they could all be, but...
That's right.
You know, check out the Nerd's Eye View, and I listened to them talk about Pete's Dragon, and they agreed with us.
Great, right?
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can also check out things like Midnight Marinara, even though we're on hiatus right now until next week, MBWS.
Right.
Listen to me, listen to Benson sometimes, and Veronica, most of the time, talking about wrestling.
I was going to say Nerd's Eye View is going to be doing a live show at Comic-Con, so just want to throw that out there.
And Comic Nerdy Night, Star Wars Nerdy Night. Lots of stuff going on there. Mandarin Orange Show, Phil and Janelle. You're going to be live. Popsicles, we're going to be live with or without Derek.
You better be there.
Better be there. Artistry, Kayla's going to be on some panels.
Yep. David from Midnight Marinara will be on a panel.
We also got Trent Talk. We got Van Dammit. And I think they're going to do a new one to talk about the Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet.
We'll talch about. Okay. You should watch. Did you watch The Tick?
I did watch The Tick, so we could definitely talk about that.
But yeah, let's go to BenviewNetwork.com. Listen to all the shows.
Extra Damage will be live.
Extra Damage featuring Josh. But you know, if you want to start your own podcast or your own website, or you need a portfolio website, or you're selling stuff, or you just want to have a website that says, "Hey, world, I'm here."
That would be a good website. HeyWorldI'mHere.com. Is that a thing?
I'm sure it is.
If it's not, snatch it up, guys.
I'm going to type it right now. HeyWorldI'mHere.com.
They put .co.
Well, .co isn't.
It's available.
Oh, you can have it.
You can do it. You guys, this is your chance.
What about Hey World, I Am Here?
IamHere.com.
That's
also available.
Wow, we're coming up with new things all day.
We'll give that's a one's on us there. Whoever snatches it up first.
That could be like a map site.
Yeah.
You could come up with a map.
Do anything.
Map of the world.
Or you could just have it like linked to your GPS on your phone, and it just would show where you are at any given time.
Because that's a great idea. Although Google did have a thing. Google has a thing where it's like, do you want to see where your friends are? And you could end up like, no, I don't want to turn that on.
Horrifying.
Like it's called, I forgot. I think they got rid of it because it was like, because I think I had it on, and like, because one time like I think Jerry had hers on, and it was like Jerry, and I'm like, that's weird that I know exactly where somebody is.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but I'm like, I don't want people to know where I am all the time. This is where I don't do the check-in thing like Foursquare and even on Facebook, because I'm like, first of all, nobody cares that you're at freaking Quiznos right now. Nobody cares.
Actually, I would care, because where's there a Quiznos still?
Well, okay. Whatever.
I know there's some out there.
But I'm sorry. Am I being weird that I don't care where people are all the time?
No, it's, you know.
This is the world that we live in now, where we have to tell everybody that we're at. I don't like it. I don't like it. I also just think like we basically just changed. When did we just go from like, you know, you teach your kids like, don't do this, don't talk to strangers, don't tell, you know, and then it's like, I'm just telling everybody, and it's also, I mean, this has been talked about a lot, but it's basically like, hey everybody, I'm not at my house.
Right.
Like
anyone looking to break in, still some stuff.
And then the people that check in at their house, and so now, yeah, and they're like, and so it's basically, I'm like, oh, congratulations, you just told the internet where you live.
Right. And hey, you want to pop in from your mother-in-law? You just got one. You know?
Yeah.
Nope,
that's crazy.
That's
so that's, I don't know. But if you want it, but like maybe so yeah, if you want that website where it's like, hey, here I am.
That's it. You can get it.
And you can also save $50 off creating it at DreamHost. Go to radiobrendo.com, click the DreamHost link, and save $50 off your order.
You should definitely do that.
Do that today, right now.
Yes.
And then tell everybody about it. Check in.
Do it. Tell everyone where you're at. I want someone to do that so that we can see. We'll know. And if someone buys that, if one of our listeners buys it, we'll do a segment each week where we see where you're at while we're recording. But then mark my words.
You have to figure it. We can't tell you how to do that because I don't know.
If someone does that, someone buys that and makes that website, we will make a segment where we say, okay, where's whoever at? And we'll just say, okay, they're at the bathroom right now.
Bob's on the toilet.
Bob's on the toilet.
Bob's at Bob's Big Boy.
There we go. All right. That's the challenge. If you want your segment on the show, this is your chance. All right. But, if you want to just get free shipping on stuff, you also have a chance at that.
Amazon Prime.
Yes.
And if you want to, check out the stuff, all the cool stuff on it.
You want to check out all
the cool videos on Amazon Prime.
If you want to join Mark's bad movie experience.
Yeah, buy those movies for cheap. Get 2-day free shipping with no minimum order size. And all kinds of other goodies. You can try out Amazon Prime for 30 days for free by going to radiobrendo.com, clicking the Amazon Prime. Do you have an urgent message?
Just a positive one.
Is your phone blowing up?
Yes, a good message from Comic-Con Palm Springs.
Okay.
Things are looking great.
Things are looking great.
So
is that what they told you?
It's good. It's all good.
All right. Well, you know what else is looking good is people buying stuff on Amazon through our Amazon link.
Yes, they should definitely
Which you can do that too. Go to radiobrendo.com, click the Amazon link, and then buy stuff on Amazon like normal.
Now, if you do that, we will read the stuff that you bought.
Yeah. But we don't know. We don't know who bought this. We know somebody did. We're all good here. How about you? That's what they said?
No.
Oh. that was Andrew.
That was Andrew saying that, yes.
Yeah.
All right. So what did people buy this week?
Somebody bought and it's another one of these universal waterproof case, Joto cell phone dry bag pouch for Apple iPhone 6S, 6S Plus, 7 SE, 5S, Samsung Galaxy S7, S6, Note 7, 5, HTC, LG, Sony, Nokia, motor.
And then you breathe. It's a case, right? It's a case for a phone.
I believe it's a waterproof case.
Ooh.
So you can throw your phone in the toilet all you want.
Yes. Oh, Janelle has one like that. Like she already has one. She's
Joto.
But she's used it. Like it works.
It's $8. Why not give it a try?
Yeah. You just throw your whole phone in a little bag and it seals and clips it off.
And then you dump it in the toilet.
Yeah. Or the pool. We've taken we go swimming. She'll set it by the pool so it doesn't get splashed and wrecked. It's pretty cool. That's exactly the one that she has.
It's pretty nifty.
Nice.
All right, then we got an Orico tool-free USB 3.0 to SATA external hard disk drive enclosure case for 3.5-inch SATA, HDD, and SSD. Support USB and 8 TB drives. It's a hard drive enclosure.
I think these titles are going to be on the new SATs, and the question will be,
what is this? It's not even done yet.
Oh.
5400 RPM SATA, 6 GB second, 64 megabyte cache, 3.5 inch.
The question will be, what is?
Oh wait, that was a different thing.
There's two different things.
So here's the hard drive enclosure, and then a WD Blue 6 terabyte desktop hard disk drive. So I think somebody bought this hard disk drive and then an enclosure for it. Okay. So it's probably buying the hard drive and the case is probably cheaper than buying an external drive.
Right.
Buy a regular hard drive, turn it into an external drive. Boom.
Smart.
Might save some money. This is interesting. Jello Pudding Pops mold kit. Make your own Jello Pudding Pops since they don't exist anymore.
That's cool.
You just put pudding in them.
And then you just freeze it, right? But how's that different than like a regular?
Well, it's like you.
Oh, it comes with
it's like
stuff to make it too.
Oh, so it comes with a pudding pop mold, 6 pops, 2 boxes of chocolate pudding, 2 boxes of vanilla pudding. I love that now they're like, we don't make these anymore, but here, make your own freaking pudding pops.
You want pudding pops?
It's probably like, we're sick of getting letters about pudding pops. Make your own freaking pudding pop. You just put sticks in pudding.
It's not that hard, people.
You do it yourself.
You laugh, but I would totally do that. That looks delicious.
They were probably getting. I'm serious. They were getting lost,
so sick
and they're
of
like, "We
getting
can't
pudding
afford.
pops.
We can't, sir. We can't afford to make pudding pops again, but we can make these kits to make so
Here you
people
go.
can make the pudding pops."
Dude, I love pudding pops. That's dangerous. They have
I'm
a
gonna-
shirt.
I want to
Comes
buy
with a
the
shirt.
What's the no? It's holding it up to the shirt to the size of the box.
I've never seen that before with like a
That's
food
so
item.
weird.
Because it's like a little outline of a person holding it in front of themselves, but then it has a measurement. Because you don't know how big
It takes
that person
10 minutes
is.
plus freezing.
But
I kind of want to buy these.
I mean, that could be like Shaq holding that up there. That is a human body is not a good
It also
scale.
has the actual measurements.
Right,
So
but I'm just saying, like,
it's 10 inches.
it's not a universal thing to compare it to.
Well, 10 inches is 10 inches.
Okay, let's just have a ruler there then.
He
You wouldn't
also
have had to
has a
outline the
person.
guy.
And he's like crushing it. He's
Yeah.
like, "Grr." I really hate these pudding pops. I want to buy these.
I mean, it looks fantastic.
There's also different molds. There's dinosaurs.
Oh,
That's
dude.
for Jello jigglers.
Jigglers.
And then there's back to school jigglers. Oh, wow. So there's like a bunch of different stuff.
Oh,
We just.
you can get tons.
So
There's
these are
only one
like.
pudding.
There's only one pudding. Halloween.
The rest are all jigglers.
Look at these
Oh, no, there's
jigglers,
another
though.
pudding. Oh, that's the
I
same
want. But the jigglers kind
one.
of
Yeah,
sound
Minions
good.
jigglers.
Minions jigglers. Holiday jigglers. Lots of jigglers.
Pretty great.
They're out of Happy Birthday.
I used to love making Jello jigglers.
Oh my
like, just
gosh.
making my own.
Yeah.
And you know what I would always do is put like not quite enough water so it was like real thick and rubbery because I love rubbery Jello. There's nothing like a good rubbery piece of Jello.
I kind of want to buy these pudding pops. Now
You
I'm
do
thinking
it?
about pudding
Have you ever
pops.
bought something like while we're on the show?
No. It's $9.99.
I don't know.
Oh man,
Pretty good.
I want the pudding pop. Because then once you have the molds, then all you have to do after that is buy pudding.
Yeah.
This could lead to like a.
Now I just want to point this out, however. Like those molds, like you could buy those for like pennies at the dollar store, and then you could just buy pudding. It may be worth looking into how much it is to buy it separately. Just a thought.
Yeah, but this is like.
But that says pudding pops mold kit on the box, so I realized.
All right,
that
I'm gonna
trumps
hold
it.
off. But then I was like, but then I'm just gonna buy pudding all the time, and then I'm just gonna be eating pudding pops. Oh man.
What are you having for dinner? Pudding.
You're right, because you can buy these at the dollar store, and then you just put pudding in it.
Pudding. I mean, you can buy Jello
It's
pudding.
just pudding.
But I would be willing to bet you could buy the pudding and the pop things separately for less than $10.
It comes with 3 boxes of. That's a lot of pudding.
It is a lot of pudding, so I mean maybe not. But I would compare before I buy because I'm a smart shopper like that. Or cheap, however you want to
No,
say
I
it.
totally agree with you because you can. Because I actually have popsicle
Yeah, so you don't even need to
ice
buy
molds,
those.
but they're small. They're not like. But I want like
You want it to be
these
shaped
kinds.
like a
But yeah,
pop
I'm sure
pudding
you
pop.
can find these shaped ones
Yeah,
that are shaped like
yeah.
this. I think you're right. I think that's okay. But we'll see.
But it's on your list now. It's on the radar.
Okay, we got 100% organic yellow beeswax pellets, 1 pound, premium quality, cosmetic grade, triple filtered beeswax pastilles. Great for DIY lip balm recipes. Bod.
Bod? Why does it just say bod at the
I
end?
think it got cut off.
Because they wrote too many words. Oh yeah.
Body creams, lotions, deodorants. So it's just like beeswax basically.
Did
And
you
then
order
you
this?
like. What?
Is this one your order?
Why?
Did you order this? Did you?
No.
Oh, it's none of your beeswax?
It's not mine.
Okay.
It's not yours either.
It's not my
It's none of
beeswax.
yours either. It's none of ours.
It's none of either of our beeswax.
You freaking.
That's why someone bought it. They're not
I
even
can't
going to
believe
use it.
you made me participate in your stupid joke.
That's the only reason someone bought this. They just wanted us to say that, you know.
I don't know. That looks messy.
Well, if you're making lip balm,
So we just like melt it into like.
because people
get,
do
like,
like make their own
plastic.
stuff.
You can make
Uh-huh.
furniture polish.
See, that worries me. If you can polish furniture and you put it on your lips.
Beeswax is in like everything that has wax.
Okay.
I think if you added like you don't just clean furniture with beeswax. You add like the
Like
cleaning
an element
products.
in it. It's like how
It's
seaweed
like how
goes and
all
everything.
there's seaweed and everything.
All right, okay.
Beeswax and everything. Anything waxy. Where do you think the wax comes from?
I don't know. Wax.
Your wax?
Wax plants.
You think
Chard 9.5 quart smart pressure canner and cooker. Ooh, a pressure cooker.
I see. That's what you need to like do your fruit stuff and can it.
Yeah,
that's what one would tell me. Maybe someone I know is buying this so they can can the fruit that I will give them.
You can pressure cook, slow cook. I mean, it's also a slow cooker. Or make the rice.
Yeah.
I need a new crock pot and
but because it has
rice
a canner
cooker,
with it,
man,
then I can just bring you fruit and you can can it.
I didn't buy this.
Oh, I'm just saying, if you bought one,
I
would say, Brendan, can it.
15. You can it.
But then I would hand you fruit while I said that, so I'm allowed to say it.
You're scared of canning and barbecues.
Yeah, basically, food preparation is terrifying.
Then we got a harmonica.
Nice.
Clearly colorful.
Someone else bought a harmonica.
It might be the same person buying up those harmonicas.
Is someone joining a harmonica band?
Maybe they're joining a barbershop quartet or something.
So they all have harmonicas in them?
I think so. Don't they? Well, some of them do.
I think just like the key, but it's just a
yeah.
Like
well, that's what they're using it for.
Maybe so.
All right, we got. Well, it could be a harmonica band, a jug band, a Dixieland band.
Could be. Wait, what if Blues Traveler himself listens to our show?
Yeah. I love that you call him Blues Traveler.
I don't know what his name is. But what if he listens to our show?
Blues Traveler himself. Well, hello, Mr. Traveler.
If you're out there.
And you buy really cheap harmonicas because he doesn't have a lot of money anymore. Isn't his name like John Popper?
Sure. I don't know.
Something.
As Blues Traveler. He answers to that. Believe me, he's fine.
Hey, Blues
Traveler. If someone called me Pop Box, I would answer. Believe me, I would answer in a heartbeat, and I would not be offended. If someone called you BrendoMan, oh wait,
it is. Oh, that's fine.
See, you named it after yourself, so you automatically get that. Not everyone has that privilege.
All right. Well, we also got some video games. Bunch of video games.
Yeah. What do we got?
Someone went crazy.
Could have been different people.
I don't know. We got Battlefield 1 Early Enlister Deluxe Edition for Xbox One. We got Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Standard Edition for Xbox One.
All right.
Titanfall 2 Deluxe Edition, Xbox One. And Warner Home Video Games Lego Dimensions Adventure Time Level Pack.
I'm hoping someone bought that for me and is going to send it to me.
I bet you Adam Wells bought all this stuff.
For me? I don't have an Xbox.
Does Adam Wells have an Xbox? I thought he's a PlayStation guy. I thought he was
guy. PlayStation, yeah.
Well, then somebody bought some Xbox One games.
And then one person bought me a Lego set because I don't have that one.
Is that the one that you do?
Well,
what about the Ghostbusters one? Did you get that?
New series. I haven't gotten to get a lot of new ones. I haven't gotten any new ones.
Do you have Gizmo?
No, that's all new series.
Man, because like that was crazy when we were playing the multiplayer, and I'm like, Gizmo is messing me up.
Yeah.
He was like, "It's just cool running around and seeing all kinds of different."
It's like little Lego,
like little Lego Gizmo.
Adventure Time guys, Ghostbusters, Scooby Doo, everybody's in it. It's fantastic. I love that game. But I haven't got any of the new series just because money.
Mm-hmm. Well, be sure to check out our Facebook group and lots of stuff. For instance, today I just posted about Netflix announced Anne of Green Gables.
I saw this like right before
Netflix series, so I tagged Janelle.
Did you see what the description of it was?
It's like
they're doing like a gritty reboot of Anne of Green Gables.
It's gonna be so. I cannot wait.
Means.
I think it's gonna be like Anne of Green Gables meets like 90210 or something like that.
I don't know. Like, how does that even work?
Murder in Avonlea.
I mean, I don't know.
This time it's serious.
Because you saw like the creator is one of the writers from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, dude.
So I mean, what the heck is that going to be? I don't know.
I'm pumped.
I can't imagine. What if it's just gonna be nuts.
I think it's gonna be like a gritty. I think gritty meaning is gonna be like high drama.
Could be, or it could also be like realistic. Like
prairie life.
They lived dirty back then. They didn't like bathe every day. Maybe they're just dirty. Like Monty Python, Holy Grail type of
we
thing.
Mean gritty is in
like literally gritty. Like they don't bathe much. It's still sweetsy and cute. They're just dirty.
Just dirty.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
A gang comes in town, takes over Avonlea, and only Anne can save the town by burning it to the ground.
She's like hiding behind the thing with a slingshot in her hand.
Only one person.
Anne. Oh, because it's just going to be called Anne, right? Yeah.
One girl.
Only one can save them.
Only one. This town's only big enough for one.
And then she shoots a guy and says, "The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it, Marilla?" Dun, dun, dun. I know quotes from the actual Anna Green Gables movie, so I can like throw them out there. I'm pretty sure there's a very small overlap in our audience between people that listen to our show and people that can quote Anna Avonlea. But if you're out there, you guys would appreciate that.
Well, talk about it in the Facebook group. Go to radiobrendo.com for all the links. We also got our subreddit. What's going on with our Kickstarter, Phil?
Well, after Comic-Con Palm Springs, we're going to have lots of stuff to deliver.
Yeah, we said that after the last 3 cons.
Well, no, Comic-Con Palm Springs has been like V1 because that's like we got 13 things going. It's a lot of work.
Okay.
So after that.
Sure.
Immediately after that.
We got Clicker Heroes Clan at clickerheroes.com. Dave's back.
Oh, yeah?
Because he got his phone fixed. I guess
that's right. His phone was broken for a while. That's why he wasn't playing.
And yeah, because he popped back up, except now he's like way behind because the game totally changed and it's crazy.
You gotta like catch up now.
Yeah, because Kermit and Craig from the Res
they've been dominating.
Yeah.
Well, he'll catch up again.
I'm like Caesar ahead of me because I don't know what I'm doing. I need a new strategy.
You just click.
No, there's a whole thing.
More than just clicking?
It's pretty complicated, actually.
All right.
Well, what's not complicated is listening to Mandarin Orange Show or going over to myvacationpants.com.
That's true.
For Janelle's stuff.
Those are easy things to do.
And check that out. And yeah.
Got a new show coming out this week, in fact. Like every week.
And if you are in the Big Bear, check out Mountain Room Escapes at mountainroomescapes.com. If you like room escapes.
It's a fantastic one.
You planning a trip out there?
Interestingly enough, he is, I don't know exactly how long, but a week or 2 out from launching his second room.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Second room?
Second room. It's
second location.
Sequel. It's the same room. It's the sequel.
So he's just like, so the old room's gone?
No, it's set in the same thing. I can't I don't know the story, but the basic idea is that you come back to the setting like 3 months after the first thing happened, and you come back for a second thing that happens in the same setting. So depending on which one you're doing, they just set the room in different ways. So it's all new puzzles, all new storyline, all new effects, etc.
Whoa!
I don't know. He's not telling me about it because I want to be able to go through it and do it again.
Well,
so
if you want to check that out, mountainroomescapes.com. Use the code RadioBrendoMan to get $5 off each ticket, and you get a special exclusive gift when you join the game.
It's gonna be good.
You know what else is gonna be good?
What's that?
Oh, we already did this.
Yeah, talked about that.
Talked about that, but Comic-Con Palm Springs, as we've said multiple times, podcastadvocates.com. We're going to be presenting a bunch of panels and live podcasts, and also our Webcomics Advocates panel. And our friend Patrick Scullin's going to be doing a art panel for kids.
Live A+B.
Live A+B, live shows.
We basically are going morning till night,
taking
Saturday
over
and Sunday.
Mesquite Room D. If you go to the we'll
post it in the group.
It's also on BenvyNetwork.com. There's the schedule page.
So we'll post links to that.
Got all our things. And be sure to, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go on Groupon, type in Comic-Con Palm Springs, $39.
I think so, for like the whole weekend.
For the whole weekend.
It's a pretty good deal.
That's definitely what you want to do.
Yes.
I got a pretty good hotel room for $53 a night.
It's good. We paid a little more.
But you're like right there.
But we're right there, and I think ours had like breakfast or something.
Mine's got breakfast.
Well, that's good. That's good.
I will see. So
could be good. Could be good.
I am excited. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm gonna be getting up early because we go to freaking.
Well, right, because our first thing on Saturday is at 10, and no, it's 10:30 on Saturday and then 10 on Sunday.
Ugh.
Well, it's one or the other. Maybe it's switched the other way around. But
yeah, what else is coming up is Long Beach Comic Con.
Yes, our panel is going to be
17th, 18th. Ours is going to be on Sunday, the 18th. Do we know the time yet?
Yes, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Well, LongBeachComicCon.com is where you're going to find all the information and buy tickets.
It's in that email I sent you.
Okay.
The first one. So.
I should have looked at that.
It's there. But
put it in here. Because people are going to want to check that out. That's going to be our Webcomics Advocates panel featuring you and me and Josh and Patrick.
Yep.
Man, we've been doing that panel. This will be like our however many years.
Well, plus this year alone, we've already done WonderCon, Long Beach Expo.
Yeah, this will be our fifth,
and then
that'll be our fifth
in 1 year.
For 1 year, that's a pretty awesome.
That's pretty great. That's fantastic. Plus, if you add like all the other panels we're doing at this thing, like I think we might be setting a panel record.
Maybe, except for maybe like real professionals that do a panel every time they appear.
Yeah, but if they only do one every time they appear, we're doing 13.
Well, we're not doing all 13.
Well, but we're a part of 13 in one way or another.
You know what else we're a part of? That'd be the LA Podcast Festival.
Yeah.
Which is the next week after that, September 23rd and 25th. There are still tickets, lapodfest.com. Now, we're not going to be like doing our podcast there, but we are going to be doing our podcast recording in the podcast lounge. And if you come, we'll talk to you on the show.
We'll put you in our show.
Be in our show. And hopefully, we're going to be talking to lots of other people. We're going to be there with our friend Cheryl Jones. Is going to be there for Movies Made Me. And I'm excited because Joe Myers is coming out. And he's from the podcast Macabre, and he's a longtime web friend that I haven't actually met in person. I talked to him on the phone once, and but he's somebody I've known for a long time. But he's coming out, and because he's going to be there with his girlfriend Elisa, who's another friend of the show, and so I'm excited to talk to Joe. We're already going to have Joe on the show at some point, talking about because he loves horror movies and all kinds, and he's his podcast. They talk all about that, but also just talking to Joe because he's a good guy, and I'm excited. And I'm also excited about all the other because who knows? We're going to be there for all 3 days. Last year in one day, it was. I mean, if you've listened to the show, you know how crazy our podcast festival adventure was last year. Last year in one day, we saw Patton Oswalt. Did not talk to him.
Right.
We had
around
Todd Glass. We had Greg Proops. We had Mark Maron himself. We had Graham Elwood. Is that it? Well, we had Cheryl.
Yeah. I think there's one other. Oh, at the very end.
Todd Glass.
Oh, that was Todd Glass. You're right. Okay. I guess that's it. Oh, we had one other guy that did another show that I forget his name.
Oh, yeah.
One of the other guys that was there. So we had a lot.
But, and I think this year, since we're there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
even crazy.
It's going to be nuts. And I'm excited.
Also, Cheryl has put together some cool stuff for our podcast advocates panel at Comic-Con Palm Springs.
We're going to be doing our podcast advocates panel.
She's got like a thing she's handing out. She wrote up like a really cool, I don't know if you saw the thing. Yes. I think you did, yeah. So we're going to have some good stuff at that. Just one more plug for that. And because Cheryl at Movies Made Me is really cool.
Yes. And you should check that show out. And also, again, lapodfest.com if you're going to be in LA. And there's tons of great shows doing we're talking the big boys.
Yeah.
But we're going to be in the podcast lounge.
Yes, we
hanging out. And also maybe watching. I'm excited because Get Up On This is doing an episode. And I finally get to see them live. And
cool.
And I hope, like, my real big hope is I'm going to try and contact him beforehand. I figured maybe that might be a good idea, is try and reach out to some of these people to maybe be like, hey, can you set aside some time to come from here? I want to have Jensen on the show. I would love
that'd be great.
To talk to Jensen. There's so many things I want to talk to Jensen about his book, about running an art gallery, writing for WWE, his music career, like just so much stuff. Because he's a cool guy. So I really hope we can make that happen. And I will see him before Podfest because I think he goes to all the PWG shows. So maybe if I see him there and I can talk to him there.
That's cool.
And be like, hey, you're going to be at Podfest. Can you set aside 10 minutes?
That's all we need.
10 minutes, come over to the room. It's directly adjacent to the room that you will be in.
Yep.
And
sometimes there's candy in there.
Yeah.
So that's great.
I hope it's the same girl running it because she was really cool.
We got free records.
See, I'm excited about Podfest. And I'm excited about all the other conventions, and then we'll go into hibernation. Yeah. That'll be the last. That's like the last thing.
Yeah, for a long time.
Oh wait, no.
What?
Because I forgot to forward this to you.
What?
Kamikaze has pro badges.
Oh really?
Yeah.
When is that?
It's in October.
Okay.
So I was thinking about maybe going if I get approved. You have to get approved. So I was gonna say you should also sign up. You should go to the Kamikaze.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in October. But I don't know. But lots of cons.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff going on. And So I think it's going to do next for this episode. Stay tuned. Right. Next episode, Phil's going to talk about this Adobe thing. And also, you heard the tease last Thursday. Well, it actually ended up being Friday. I forgot.
Episode.
But
there's a crazy Marmaduke coming up.
It's nuts.
And I
haven't read it yet.
I have not. There was one night where I sat there looking at it. I'm like, I'm just gonna peek, and I was like, no,
don't do it.
And I haven't.
It's crazy, and I think it's gonna confirm a lot of the things that we think. I haven't read it, but I just peeked and saw something.
And I started putting it out there, like in the episode description. If anybody knows Paul Anderson,
that's his name,
and not Paul W.S. Anderson or Paul Thomas Anderson,
right.
Either of those directors. This is another Paul Anderson, son of Brad Anderson. He currently still does Marmaduke.
Really?
Well, yeah, I showed him to you, the ones he does.
Like
because most of the time it's reprints, but he still does the Sunday. Well, I showed you one. They're bad.
I remember
they're terrible. They're real bad.
You should reach out.
There's no way to contact him. I've looked.
Okay.
But if anybody we know or anything or anybody or I don't know, just because I know we've tried to because we never were able to find that Final Fantasy guy.
No, I know. I think that might be lost to the history of Nintendo.
But I don't like because this guy's a person, but he doesn't do. I've tried to because I'm like he has to go to conventions or something. No, the cartoon strips guys like they don't. Most of them don't do.
Yeah,
I mean, this year was Jim Davis's first appearance at San Diego Comic-Con ever. I still can't find anything about like
how did that go?
How did that go?
I think he controlled it like Florence Foster.
Like there's no video.
Huh? No one like snuck a phone in.
Because like I don't even know what Jim Davis looks like.
I don't either. I always assume he looks like John. But I mean,
that's probably true.
I mean, what if it is? What if he just walks in and looks
he's like 80 now.
Yeah, well, like an older version.
80-year-old John. Maybe I need to look more, but I looked a little bit, especially like a couple days after. I'm like, somebody has to have been at this panel and recorded video, but because like it was there was like so much going on that day.
What if just no one went to it?
No way.
What if no one went to it?
What if Jim Davis did a panel at Comic-Con and no one came?
It's possible. But I doubt it.
I remember there's a famous Comic-Con story. They did a panel for the middle.
Uh-huh.
And that was when I think CBS realized we can't just have a panel for every show because apparently the only people at this panel were TV reporters. And some blogger was like, what if CBS had a television panel for a hit new show and nobody came? Because that's what happened. And also when they did because they also another overreach was they did a Glee panel in Hall H. It was maybe because I know a couple people that went to it and they said there was less than 1,000 people.
Yeah, you got to know your audience there. That's just not
because that was the one time Glee came to Comic-Con and they never came back.
That's funny.
Is Glee still on?
I don't think so, but I don't know. I have no idea.
Because I tapped out after Andrew says no. Okay.
Oh, okay.
But I know they did a one Comic-Con panel and there was nobody came.
Maybe this is what happened. I already know. Jim Davis came. He said, I'm going to be there at Comic-Con. And then he's like, oh, you take that Garfield without Garfield guy. How about a Jim Davis panel without Jim Davis? That's what happened. He didn't show.
What if Garfield without Garfield secretly is Jim Davis?
It probably is. He's sick of it. He's like, all right, I'm just going to do this now.
But that guy actually made a book. But because I think he got approval or something. Well, because Jim Davis, he's the kind of he's at the level where he's not he's like, you want to give me money? Sure.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
He's like Steven Spielberg of comics now.
But even worse, I feel because because what hasn't Garfield when it's
I don't know.
Although I still think Peanuts is because Peanuts endorses life insurance and mutual funds.
And didn't they do retreat places at one point? Weren't they part of a all inclusive resorts? There was a thing I think they promoted.
Oh, Club Med.
Club Med, right?
Was that Peanuts?
I think it was.
No, I think you're right. I
feel like they've been on some weird stuff.
Well, I mean, also theme parks.
Well, right. That's less crazy.
Well, there's no Garfield theme park.
True.
Garfield doesn't have a.
I bet there is.
There's no Camp Garfield.
I bet there is in China.
Well, there's everything in China.
Got it there somewhere.
I mean, they have bootleg everything, but Jim Davis isn't seeing any of that money.
That's true.
Although Jim Davis is probably so smart, he figured out a way to get that Chinese money.
I think he did, yeah.
Which most people, Disney, still finally figure that out. Oh, he found pictures
of Jim Davis. Oh, I bet it's empty. Either that or people are throwing stuff.
All right.
All right, he's got a picture here. Let's just take a peek.
Does he look like John? Wow, that's him at Comic-Con.
Yeah, he's there.
Man, he was at a booth.
We could have walked by.
We could have walked by and not known it.
I wouldn't know what
He actually looks very jolly.
He's probably pretty happy.
He got an award.
Well, here's the thing. Once upon a time, like I love Garfield. I mean,
everybody loved Garfield at one point or another.
It got to a point where, you know, it was kind of taken over by a corporate machine.
Of course, he got his pick. Well, because Mark Evanier wrote for Garfield and Friends, so of course they're buds.
I used to love Garfield and Friends too.
Well, Garfield and Friends is legitimately awesome.
Yeah.
Like legitimately great.
Have we talked about Garfield's 9 Lives before? Probably.
That's also great.
Fantastic.
But at some point, it just became, I hate Mondays and I eat lasagna.
Yep.
And Odie sucks.
And Nermal. Darn that Nermal. He's so cute. That's pretty much it.
That's basically what it became. But Garfield without Garfield is amazing because it's basically like, oh my gosh, John is like suicidal,
Right.
like all the time.
Right.
All right. Well, we need to end this episode.
Yeah, we're still wrapping up this episode.
Whoa, yeah. What were we talking about before?
The end?
The conventions and Comic-Con.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
all that stuff.
Well, hopefully we'll see you at Comic-Con Palm Springs. You should buy your tickets now if you haven't yet, if you're going to be there.
Yeah.
And if not, I mean, we're going to record it. Hopefully it'll work.
I think it'll be good. We're all good.
You'll be listening to that next week. Well, stay tuned until Thursday, everybody. And for Radio BrendoMan, I'm Brendan Creecy.
And I'm Phil Vecchio.
Have a good one, everybody.
All right.
We should call that one They Had Shirts.
They had shirts. That's good. They did have shirts. And tails.
And they told tales. Did they tell tales or they just had tales?
I don't know.
I don't even remember what happened on that show, except they lived in a tree and they had shirts.
Anyway, the director just texted me and said, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay.
Actually, he said call you Tom, but I'm assuming he means tomorrow.
No, he said, hey, I'll call you. Hey, Tom.
Okay. So that's good.
Yeah, you don't hear the music. That's what you miss. You miss out, I guess.
Oh, everybody loved that. Everyone.
And then I put the music in as soon as he said,
no, you should put it in. That was fantastic.
Because at first I was just going to cut all that out. And I'm like, no, this is pretty funny.
That was really funny. Because it's...
The funniest thing I ever did, though, is that Popsicles where we almost, like... didn't do it in the little, but that because first it had the Blues Brothers, like the Ipanema song, and then it's just Derek going. And if I had managed to, because I almost wanted to get that full audio from the Hangout,
right.
where it's like Tan, and he's like Derek, and Derek's like, hey. And then Tan's like, I miss you guys, and Derek's like, I miss you too, buddy. But we kind of got a situation going on here.
Yep.
And then Derek and Benson go like, did he just leave? I don't think he's coming back.
That was great. No, I loved that. Was really funny. And the Josh one was really funny. In fact, I hadn't listened to it yet still, and my brother's like, you haven't listened to it yet? You gotta listen to it. I'm like, what? You should listen to it.
Oh wait, I forgot to change the title for that. That's a really good idea to put the title because I always forget.
Yeah.
And then if it's in there,
then you don't have to worry. What was I going to look at? I don't care.
That should be our theme song. What was I going to look at?
I don't care. You know that song?
The I Don't Care song.
What would you like to eat? I don't care.
That was chicken soup and rice.
Yep. I don't care. Yeah, that whole tape. That one, but that song in particular was Maurice Sendak?
Yeah, Maurice Sendak. The book is Chicken Soup and Rice.
Yeah.
And that I Don't Care song is from that.
Well, but there was a tape that had like other ones too. That eating chicken soup with rice.
Yeah.
Chicken.
But it's all from that book.
Right.
The I Don't Care song. Oh yeah, man.
Would you keep standing upside down? I don't care. So we can go to town. Would you bring that folding chair? I don't care. So his parents left him there.
Oh, I have soda.
And the lion eats him in the end, and then he comes out and he cares. It's great.
Wasn't there like no? What's because he had some like that's different than In the Night Kitchen, right?
Yeah, I think so.
What was In the Night Kitchen? That's the one where he's like naked.
Yeah, that's separate.
But that's also Maurice Sendak.
I believe so.
And is also weird.
Yeah. Well, that's what he does. Oh man, got another. Hey, the schedule is wrong. Everyone's just finding it at their own pace. I can't open it right now, though. You got to bring those things into the recycling.
What?
You got like a whole recycling load there. You probably get $30 out of that.
No, I wouldn't.
$20?
No.
10?
No.
Maybe we get at least
It's
10.
like 10 cans.
Sounded like a lot more. You got a lot of boxes in there.
Boxes?
Well, I just assume there's cans that come along with those boxes.
No, it's just I'm too lazy to throw out the boxes, but I throw out the cans.
Gotcha. Well, if you take them in, you get free money.
Then you gotta collect them.
I do.
You can come get them. Get my.
I'll come hobo in your house.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to take them from other people, but.
That's where you draw the line. What the frick is this?
What's this?
What's that?
Spotify?
Oh, what are these arrows? Am I
It's
hallucinating?
no, it's your desktop. Look at your desktop
Oh.
picture.
It's like, what is
It's Homestar.
No, it's not. That's not from that.
It's not? Are you sure?
No, you're right. It is.
That's like
Yeah. Because it's okay, now I know what it is.
Look.
It's because the wallpaper thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
That freaked me out because I was like, what is
Yeah,
that?
it says something down there. I don't know. I can't read what it says, though.
How do I change that?
How do I change that?
Oh, fill, fit, stretch.
Seriously. That's what it says.
Okay, stretch. Oh, but then it's like all. No, I think that's right. I think I want it stretched.
Well, then you can read it all. Are we ready?
Gosh, I've been like so addicted to watching Homestar Runner stuff that I've watched
Homestar.
a billion times.
It's so great. That's why. Seriously.
Because like I had forgot, like, and then it's like weird when like stuff where it had previously left your brain, then the second you hear it
You're
again,
like, oh yeah.
I was like, because even like the very first one, the Mario Paint one, I had like, I'm like, I don't even remember clicking this, but I must have at some point because as soon as the song, the Homestar Run,
yeah,
because it's like
yeah,
run,
yeah.
run, dun, 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 dun. Look out, dun, dun, it's strong bad. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
it's strong bad. Like the first song. It's the dumbest song.
That's fantastic.
I'm like, I know all of this because this is all I used to watch.
Yeah.
Because like
Over
in
and
college,
over.
because especially in college, because at Central I didn't have TV, so I just watched stuff on like I watched movies on my computer, like DVDs, and then I watched like web videos and
Yep.
this, and that was my entertainment for 3 years.
Do you remember like back in that era there was a web animation short where it was a toilet in the middle of the office? Do you remember that?
No.
The whole thing was like this animated short and there was just a toilet in the middle of the office with no walls around it, and it would just be like someone would go and just start taking a dump in the middle of the office. It was the stupidest thing, but I watched that over and over again.
I remember there was a art installation in Europe where it was a toilet where it was from the outside you couldn't see in, but from the inside it looked like there was no walls.
Oh, weird! Like
because it was like one way. It was like one way glass.
Oh, that's
and
weird.
so
like from you're sitting on a toilet, you could see everything, and it looked like there was no window. Like there was no walls. It looked like you were just out
in public.
And so like in this like they would just like kind of like they didn't film people like pooping or anything, but like it was kind of like because they'd be like. Just like
that is weird.
And some people like wouldn't do it, like wouldn't go.
Well, I mean, I can imagine some serious stage fright there. That's funny.
Yeah.
We ready?
Actually, I think I can find that because it's one-way glass toilet. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
So yeah, that's like what it looked like from the outside. But then on the inside, yeah, like because you could see all the people.
That's awesome.
So like, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Also, that guy's letting his jacket like totally brush on the back of that toilet. That's disgusting.
I love that. That's what you're
like. That's horrible.
That's why you don't wear your jacket.
No.
When you're in the
you know how George strips down when he goes into the toilet? He's not the only one that does that.
You take your shirt off?
I don't take my shirt off, but I take all but just a t-shirt. Like I never have anything more than a t-shirt. And if I'm at home, I'll take pants off first.
Have you ever left your shirt?
I've never done that. No, because I'm way too obsessive to like forget to wear something back out. But no, I'm with him on that. I understand.
All right, let's go. Yeah, but he does it to relax, not because he's a germaphobe.
Well, both though. It's comfortable because then I'm holding up my shirt and I don't want my sleeves to touch anything.
All right, the timer is started.
All right,
hello and welcome to another episode of Radio BrendoMan. I'm Brendan Creecy.
And I'm Phil Vecchio.
Please don't fast forward just so you can get to the crazy Marmaduke.
No, you have to listen all the way through or it's cheating.
Yeah, don't cheat.
We'll put like a blocker on there. So
I shouldn't have said anything.
Now you gave the people that idea.
Crap.
We have to say really interesting stuff now.
Well, you know what's really interesting is that can't think of anything.
Oh man, we lost them. They all skipped to Marmaduke. We just say whatever we want. In fact, let's just like go, leave a big blank spot, and then just do Marmaduke.
Because we know everybody. That's where they're at. That's where we've come to in our show.
I've gotten texts. What's happening in Marmaduke this week?
We don't have because at first I'm like we should bring back Nintendo Power, and I'm like nobody cares about Nintendo Power anymore.
I think maybe at some point we'll bring that.
I was reading like I've had to This is going to sound weird.
Okay.
But I Google myself pretty frequently now.
Okay.
Just because I need to know what's going to come up because I know the kids are Googling my name.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I know they Google all the other teachers.
Yep.
So I can't, I don't want to have any surprises.
Right.
So I'm checking every once in a while. And so one of the things that comes up, now I forgot where I was going.
Something that you did?
So I Googled myself. Now I forgot where I was going with that.
Man, now we lost the rest of them to Marmaduke.
I lost the train of thought. Oh, no. So that led to on Mark Bolton's page.
Okay.
For when we were on it's now called Comics Nerd Unite, but when we were on it was called Nightwing Love Power Girl.
And we were calling it the name of his old show while we were on there.
Which is a totally different show that he did. And so, but Mark even says, he's like, one of my favorite things about the show is that they read Nintendo Power every episode. I'm like, man, we haven't done that in a long time. I'm like, what if even Mark is like, man, I'm done with this show.
Stop with Marmaduke, man.
No, but Mark loves Marmaduke.
Oh, that's right.
But what if other people are like, I really miss Nintendo Power?
We should bring it back at some point.
We don't have time, really.
Well, right. But maybe like we'll take a break. I'll tell you what.
My goal right now is to actually do this show in an hour. Which we haven't been doing for the Thursday episode.
We've got time.
It's already 10:48.
Okay, here's my plan. There's 1, 2, 3. There's like 4 more Marmadukes in this book before we get to book 2.
Mm-hmm.
What if like in the interim between the two we do a couple of Nintendo Powers?
Okay.
If people can handle like a little intermission.
All right.
We'll start season 2 of Marmaduke after that. It'll be like
season 2.
Nintendo Power BL summer.
Oh no,
programming.
Andrew left the group chat. He's probably like, oh no.
You're gonna do Marmaduke now? Forget this.
Screw you guys. I didn't care about Nintendo Power. Remember when we almost got Howard Phillips on the show?
Yes, I still have the emails.
Because I think other people found him and then he got like big again.
Yeah, because that's like I found him.
We missed our window
right when he got on Facebook. Like
because then Nintendo Power ended and everyone was doing all these articles and then he started getting interview requests.
Yeah,
and all this other stuff. And I think we missed the win. It was like how I was like one person away from getting Rebecca Black on popsicles.
Oh.
Like we had, but then like she just like blew up. Like I almost got, it was like the window was only open for a brief time. And I just missed.
We could probably do it. You probably get it now.
Well, now maybe I could, because I still am friends. So it was one of my old coworkers. His daughter, his daughter and Rebecca Black went to school together.
Nice.
And like we're friends.
My kids and I still sing the Friday song every Friday at school. On the way to school, we're like, it's Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
And like I just remember when that was all unfolding, and I jumped the gun a little bit, and I told Derek, I'm pretty sure you can get rid of Derek, like freaked out. So then he wrote this letter, and I sent it, and I don't know if that freaked out.
Well, I still have the emails from Howard Phillips. Like I can prove that was a thing. But it would just be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm getting busy and I'll get back to you. And then after a while, it just petered out and there was nothing.
Maybe now.
Maybe now. Maybe it's kind of died down a bit. Maybe it might be worth revisiting.
I should also revisit. I just realized my friend, one of my friends, who was it?
Someone.
One of my friends.
Okay.
Forgot who it was now. Well, now I don't know.
All right.
This is how long ago it was. I have a friend from somewhere who was an actual game counselor, and he was going to be on the show.
But now I don't remember who it was.
My friend Tom,
Okay.
because he's from Seattle.
Okay.
And so he was a game counselor, and I had emailed him, and at first we were just going to send him questions, and then he never. But I think he got busy.
Yeah.
But I think now maybe
someone emailed him about how to beat Castlevania 2, and he's like, "Sorry guys,
this is gonna take 4 years." And, but yeah, I because I got to circle back around on that because that would also be cool. Because again, he was an actual game counselor for a while.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we get him on, we'll definitely read Nintendo Power for sure. So.
All right. Well, what else is going on with you? I mean, you got some stuff.
I got a couple things to talk about from this week. First of all, I just have to do a little mini rant about Adobe and how irritating Adobe is. Okay, so for those that don't know, Adobe they do Illustrator, they do Audition, they do a bunch of software.
All the creative stuff.
Yeah, if you're doing audio, graphic design, video, whatever. So I've been, unfortunately, forced to use, so now their new thing, you used to be able to buy software like you could any other software.
This is the new model. This is happening everywhere.
Right.
Microsoft is doing this.
Right, where you have
to
have a subscription.
It's
you can't just own it.
Because we don't own anything anymore.
But it's horrible. I mean, it's obvious the reason they do is they get more money out of you.
Well, but sometimes if it's something you use every day and you're constantly using it and you got to have the latest and greatest, if you do the math, because the upgrades, like adding an upgrade cost, and if you're upgrading every time, because for you were using CS3 for like however many years.
CS4, I still am using that.
Yeah, and that's like crazy years old. But if you're one of those people that needs to be on the bleeding edge, and if you're a professional, and that is why they switched to the monthly plan, because people were complaining how it's, because that's where it does get extremely expensive.
But see, then when you have someone like me who I dabble in these things, little bits
here and there,
it's
not really cost feasible.
Right. So the subscription is, so here's how it works. You can either pay $30 a month for one of the things.
I thought your employers were paying for this.
They're pitching in. They said they would split it 50-50 with me if I did. Because the thing is, they're like a, low, like they're a nonprofit little thing.
So they know it's expensive, so why are they making you do this?
So that's the thing. They didn't force me to do it. They said, if you want to do it, this is what we're doing it on. So it's the only reason I'm doing it. But the fact of the matter is I'm in the position of needing to do this like monthly thing. So at first, when it was kind of on a trial thing and they were, we're feeling it out and see how it's going to work, I just did the month-to-month thing.
Yeah.
So I figured I'll just pay for a month and see what happens. Well, first of all, I guess I didn't read enough small print, because even though it's month to month, so it's an extra $10 a month, they still automatically charge your credit card.
Yeah.
But I'm paying month to month. I should get to pay for a month and then I'm done. And then if I want to pay
none
a month
of
later,
the subscription stuff works that way.
Well, that's stupid. It's not fair.
They want you to either pay month to month or you pay all at once.
Right. But if you do month, I should be able to pay for a month and then like when I need it a month later,
but every month to month thing is recurring.
I'm just saying.
Come on.
I don't think they made that clear enough.
You gotta read the print.
Okay, so anyway, so I started out with that with the intention of if it became a regular thing, I'd just do the yearly thing, because then it goes down $10 less a month, right? So it's going well. I've been editing them and stuff. So okay, I'm going to do it. So last week I called like on Wednesday, I think. And because I tried to do it on their website, and there's no way that I could see to switch from the one to the other. And every time I tried to do it, it said like, "Oh, contact customer service."
That's because they don't want you.
Because they don't want you to do that. Because they're getting more money out of me every month right now. They don't want me to do that. So I call customer service, and they acted like they're like, "What are you trying to do?" I'm like, "I'm on the month-to-month. I want to go to the yearly contract." Wow. Okay, can you explain to me?
Why didn't you just cancel your month-to-month?
Well, okay, so I tried doing that, but then they're like, "Oh, you need to go talk to customer service because
to cancel."
Well, because it was partway through the month, and I wanted to do it so that the next time it charges me, it goes to $19.99. So it wouldn't let me do it partway through. I don't know. It was real shady. And so anyway, I called up, and they acted like, "Whoa, I don't understand what you're trying to do." I'm like, "I'm on the month-to-month. I want to go to monthly." She was very nice, but obviously they've been like coached to like, no, don't get them. We're getting more money from them that way. So finally she says, "Okay, you want to cancel the other one and subscribe?" I'm like, "However that works, that's fine. I just want to change my thing from this to this." So she says, "Okay, it's fine. I'll get it all set and everything's taken care of. You got to wait 24 hours for everything to do." I'm like, "Okay, I guess that's fine." So Friday comes around, and I think everything's fine. I go like to log in, and it says that they've canceled my old one and charged me for the last month, but then they did not set up the new one. And now I have no like new subscription.
They have nothing.
And so I go and call them up, and guess what? They work on like regular office hours for their customer support, and it's too late. Now I got the whole weekend. I got nothing. So I couldn't work on it all weekend because I brought my computer up. I was gonna like work on it, right? So then Monday comes around. I call this morning and explain what happened. Oh, meanwhile they sent me like their customer support emails like, "Oh, everything's fine. Here's your survey." But I'm like, "It's not fine. It's not done. But I can't do anything until Monday." So Monday comes around, I call up and I explain what happened. They're like, "Oh, we're sorry about that. It looks like the payment went through the other one. You got to pay for your next month now. And if you pay for the next month ahead, we can get you started right away." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So I pay for the next month. The card runs through. She sends me an email with the receipt. She's like, "Okay, it'll be all fine. Give it about 15 minutes.
Wait, why are you paying for another month if you're going to go to the year?
Because I'm paying for like my starting a new subscription. So they canceled the old one. I had to pay for the new one, and then they said they'd refund me because I did it like partway through the month for like the prorated amount.
Okay.
So I'm getting like $11 back.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm like, that's fine. That's how you guys want to do it. I just whatever's easiest to do.
It seems like a crazy way to go.
Oh, and by the way, all these times on the phone are like 45 minutes to an hour just waiting to get to talk to someone, right? So this morning I call and I talk to him, and she says that's fine. I'll charge you. So she charges my card. She's like, "It should be fine. Maybe 15 minutes, but it'll be fine." I'll wait 15 minutes, it's not there. 15 more minutes, it's not there.
I would not hang up the phone until my thing is on.
Well, finally, after like an hour
and there were
and a half,
people like my jobs that they would do that, and we can't do anything.
Well, I guess I should have.
You never let go of a technician or somebody until.
So then I had to do a third call, wait once again. In fact, by that point, it was so busy, they had me just put in my phone number and said, "We'll call you so you don't have to wait on the line," which that was kind of cool, I guess. By this point, I'm waiting like 3 hours, though, and I finally get through, and I explain the lady the situation. I log into my account, and it just shows that I have not paid for anything. I have no, like, account history. It's, like, wiped now. It doesn't show, like, a canceled or my old stuff or anything. So she runs through.
And there's no way you're the first person that's done this.
No, that's not that complicated of an operation.
This is crazy.
It's, the people who were helping me were all nice. I'm not and I'm not yelling. I'm not upset or anything like that. But I'm obviously very frustrated.
I would have been pissed at this point.
And I did say to each one of them, I said, "This isn't your fault as support person, but I hate the subscription model, and I've had nothing but trouble with it since I've started. Just so you know. But obviously, it's not up to them. So
they don't care about that.
So
you might as well just say bleep blah bloop bloop bleep.
I know, but if they record it for quality purposes and someone else hears it, maybe at least one voice is heard.
They only go back to those recordings if something happens where you flip out or an incident happens.
Yes.
I know that by experience.
Do you know how many of those recordings there are of me throughout the years? Probably.
I once had to listen to a recording of myself on textbook call with somebody.
Oh, that's horrible.
It was terrible.
So anyway, long story short, she says she walks me through all this stuff to make sure I'm not a moron. Like, "Oh, did you log in with your correct password?" All this stuff.
And that's where
I'm like, but I'm like, I know she needs to do this to make sure I'm not an idiot, that I just didn't do something wrong. But I'm like, I've done all this stuff.
If this is like your fourth time calling and especially multiple times in one day.
So finally she says,
I guarantee you they have records of all of that.
Right. Well, I know. And I had like all of my case numbers from the previous times I talked to him, all that stuff. So finally, she said it must be something from the back end from our side. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I think so. And she had to like do a remote, like take over my computer to do it. And then she went in and I don't know, something like settings from her side and fixed it and it worked. And then it like she actually, I'm like, so is it gonna work now? Because I can't get. And finally, I realized like I gotta know. I'm like, I can't get off until I know it's gonna work. So while she's in control, she opened it and showed me, okay, it's working here now. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'm good, thank you.
And then it stopped working.
And then no, it has worked so far. But so in the end, I was supposed to edit that whole thing this morning while the kids were at school, and I got to work on it for like 15 minutes by the time all of it was done. So I spent my entire morning doing that. The people I talked to are very kind and blah blah blah. But oh my gosh. Seriously, Adobe, like get it together.
Hey, you know who you could talk to?
Who?
Both. Are you friends with Sean Gloomis on Facebook?
Yeah.
He's an Adobe like ambassador guy.
Well, he needs to tell them.
He knows
stop
people.
It. Stop it.
Well, you should seriously.
I'm
sure he would love to hear your feedback.
They've gotten my money. I've been paying them money.
I'm sure he would love to hear your feedback, and maybe he could give you some insight.
That'd be good.
I'm just telling you.
That'd be good
because he's an Adobe resident. Also from the full-time part-time, Stephen Burns is a Photoshop ambassador expert guy. So
all I'm saying is to go if they have two things where one is month to month and one is like a annual thing, it shouldn't be that complicated to switch. Like that's not a crazy thing I was trying to do, right? All right. That's my rant is over. We already talked about me doing the games this weekend.
You were the game dictator.
I was the game dictator. I got to tell everyone what to do.
Definitely sounds like you were.
Oh, I was. It was fantastic. But I won it.
Like I said, you are the kid in Twilight.
I was. Yes. But it was great. Everyone had fun.
Happy Dots.
At least they all told me they did. They had to.
Phil, it's great. It's great. It's real good what you did, Phil. It's
did
great.
You like it? Are you having fun? It was great. It was really good. And finally, on a somewhat serious note, but also to lighten it a little bit, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow.
Oh, no.
I have a doctor's appointment, which is why I wanted to get my editing done today, but Adobe, dang it, while the kids are at school. I have some questionable moles that need to be investigated. I've had some people look at it, and my mom and brother, nurses, say I need to get them checked out. One of them's been hurting for a while, bad, like irritated, and it's changed a lot recently, so that's bad. But here's the thing. Those that don't know me in person might not know this, but I have an extremely hairy back. These moles are all on my back.
You're going to have to shave your back.
Well, here's the thing. I thought I would, but then my mom and brother were like, no, if you shave it, it might irritate the skin, and they need to see it not in its irritated state.
How are they going to see it?
I don't know, but they said if they need to, they'll shave it there. So I might have to go in and have my back shaved. But I'm like, no, I should just do it. And they're like, no, don't. It'll irritate it first. They both agree.
You probably should.
I should listen to them because they're nurses. But I'm going to be so embarrassing. I'm going to have to go in there, and my doctor will go, and they're going to have to shave my back to see like what's going on down there because it's bad. I mean, you can't see through. I mean, they're like peeling through like a jungle. Like they need a machete to get through to see them. And so I have to go and do this tomorrow.
Hey, it's worth getting your back shaved to find out, to make sure you don't have freaking cancer.
It is, but I am not looking forward to it. I will just say that. Not to mention, like, you know, fat hairy back. I'm laying face down on the table. I know doctors have seen worse, but I'm just saying.
Those people have seen every possible thing.
I know, but it's hairy. It's real hairy. And I'm going to be all sweaty. I am taking the car tomorrow, so at least I can drive in air conditioning on the way.
When I had to get staples in my head, they had to like shave a whole big chunk out of my, and then like.
Yeah, but your head is different though.
It's true.
But back, that's kind of hairy back.
At least it's not your pubes.
That's true. I've never had to shave my pubes.
What if you had like a mole there and then they had to shave?
That's bad. Well, what if that happens? What if they say we need to check everywhere?
Well, because if they had to shave,
now you're freaking me out even more.
You're fine.
What if they do?
I think you would know if you had like a mole on your crotch.
I don't know. I can't see down there.
Yeah, but you could like feel it.
But you can't feel the ones on my back with my hand. Some of
How'd you know?
Well, the one hurts, but there's other ones like the Janelle on my. I've had her look, and she's like, "Oh, this looks bad." And then my mom and my brother looked at it, and they're like, "You need to go to the doctor." So I'm like freaking out, and this one has been hurting me for like several months. But
jeez, dude,
I know it's bad. But then also, since I'm being like totally honest. So while we're at the game day, I had my mom and my brother, because they're nurses, check it out. And they're like, oh, I don't know. I guess I'm allowed to tell it. I hope they won't be embarrassed by this too. But nurses are weird, right? So like, hey, come look over here. And Matt's like, Mom, look at this. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? And they come over and they're like, hold still. And then they like start giggling, and they each took turns like popping a couple of pimples on my back.
Gross.
Like, ah! And Matthew told me that he spends time watching videos on the internet of a guy called Dr. Pimple Popper, and they just show videos of him popping like gross pimples and stuff.
Well, I remember back in the day, somebody just talked about this on a podcast, and I couldn't believe that only somebody else had watched this.
The horse
But I
thing?
guess no. So this was kind of like, so before the internet and like all this stuff, like things that got like, this was before Jackass, and like the precursor to that was like skate videos and like music videos where they would do like little skits in the middle. So some of the most notorious ones were like, there were these Pantera videos where it was like them on tour, just doing all this like just debauchery, just like everything you would expect from like a backstage video of like a metal band on tour.
Right.
But one of the gnarly, because I remember Roland used to show this at parties, and that's how I saw it. And it's apparently it's a notorious. I thought we were the only ones that watched this over and over again, but apparently because like somebody brought it up on a podcast, and I'm like, I'm glad I'm not the only one to watch. And it's like these guys, and they have a roadie, and he's got this like the gnarliest back zit you've ever seen. And it's like huge, and they like zoom in real close, and it like explodes, and then it like gushes blood everywhere, and like, I mean, it is like a gusher. It's the gnarliest thing. Like, you could probably watch it now on YouTube.
Way.
Just type in Pantera zit popping. It is gnarly.
Now, if we didn't already lose people to the Marmaduke section, the rest of them just skip forward to it right now.
But yeah, so I guess that's what's happening. That's like, why would your mom and your brother want to pop
They
your
just thought it was real funny that they were doing that. I'm like, all right.
You didn't feel it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it hurt a little bit, but I'm not like. But the point is that they were like, because they're nurses. I don't know. They find that stuff funny.
Pop patients zits?
I don't know. I don't want to. They're not allowed to tell me because I can't handle it. That already is gross enough to me.
Did that gross you out with the text that I sent you yesterday?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I showed that.
Well,
to
have you seen
yeah,
that
I've
dude
seen him before?
So we'll talk about so that's you're done. You did all your stuff.
Yeah, I'm good.
So my stuff is I went to LA Comic Book Sci-Fi Con with Derek and Andrew and Derek's friend Pat, and we were selling stuff, and I did all right. I mean, I almost came out ahead.
Which is better because last time you didn't sell anything.
Well, I just realized that like most of the stuff that I sold, it was only $15 of it. But no, maybe it was a little bit more. But I sold a bunch of my aunt's Star Wars books.
Right.
So she gets most of that money.
Oh.
But those things sold. I was smart. I brought those, and I brought my comics.
And how did that go?
And those, I sold like a few comics.
Okay.
But they're not worth a whole lot. Well, I still have them.
Okay.
So I sold some Buffy comics.
I have a bunch of Tick ones, but I'm missing some. So.
Well, I have some.
Right.
Although I don't know if I found them in there. Maybe I already gave them to you.
That is possible.
I think I did because I don't have them anymore.
At some point, I think like for a birthday
I think
or something,
I gave them to you.
Those in. Yeah.
I think I gave them to you.
Okay. Well,
did I also give you the powdered toast man?
Yeah, I do have that.
So that's because that was one of the other ones. So I must have given them to you.
I picked up other ones since
some
then
point.
too. But
no, I think I brought them to a shrine show and then I gave them to you.
That's likely, yes.
Because I definitely have brought. Because before I had my bargain comics, which I brought those.
Right.
Because those are ones I bought like in a nickel bin somewhere. But now I brought my real comics. But then it turns out that none of those they're all worth the cover price. Like I started looking them up, and at a certain point I stopped looking them up because it was all the cover price. There was a couple where it was like a few dollars over cover price.
Yeah, but
at least nothing was worth less than cover price.
Good.
So basically, I was just charging, and I was like willing to do deals with people, but there wasn't a huge. But it did having a long box does bring people to the table because then they flip through it, and then they look at other stuff. So it is valuable having it there. And then but the best thing that I sold two things that I never expected to sell, because I have this Cordelia figure that if it's mint in the box, because I got it for donating blood at Comic-Con, and it was like an exclusive, and it's like $50, except I've had it for so long, I've been carrying it around for so long that at some point the whole blister pack came off the card. Like just totally came off. But it's still all in one piece, and it's never been like played with or anything. So I'm just like, all right, I'll sell it for $10. And then this guy came, and at first he was looking at the statues, and I was like, yes.
Buffy's. I had 2 people that almost bought a statue, and those are $125 a pop. And so
I would have done it right there.
Oh my gosh. 2. This one girl though, like she talked herself out of it, and I'd let her do it.
Oh, gotta hook them in.
I know. Well, then Derek was like, "I'll sell you the Spike figure that I have for $15," and then she was like, "I'll take that." And I was like, "Derek."
He undermined you.
But because she honestly was like, "Oh, I can buy collectibles. I have my whole life to buy collectibles." Like, no, you have this. Right? What if you never see this again? I don't know. I should have said stuff like that, but I didn't.
Oh wow.
So, anyways, this dude looks at my Cordelia figure and he's like, "Well, nobody. This is." I'm like, "It's basically mint, but it's just the card came off." So like, and he's like, "Well, I'll like, will you go any lower?" I'm like, "Look," because I'm like, "You can look for yourself. This is worth like $50, so $10 is a good deal for open,
right?"
Like. And it's and so he's like, all right. So he bought $10, and then he bought Derek's thing for like $40, and then he bought another thing, and not my stuff, but it was fine. And
but that's good. You got
so it's fun. So one of the regulars at LA Comic Book Sci-Fi Con is a dude, and I think in order to have what he has, I don't think he's ever cut his hair.
Yeah, not in decades.
Because it's like this. It's not even. It's okay because Andrew and I talked about it at great length. Because I'm like, it's like a wrapped ponytail, but it's not a ponytail. It's like
a dread.
It's a one giant dread, but it goes all the way down
like to the ground.
To the ground, but it's all bunched up. So I'm like, if you were to somehow be able to unwrap that would just be a giant hair cape, right? And it would probably go on the ground like a train,
oh my God,
like a bridal train. Because I'm like, how far down do you think it goes?
In that
and
thing?
How long is it? But he's like, if you unwrap that right now, it would just stay in the form it's in because it's just one giant dreadlock, and it's all gnarly and like dusty. And because I'm like, do you think he undoes his hair to wash it? And he's like, he can't.
Oh,
like,
it's a dread.
So then I'm like, when was the last time you think he did that? He's like, probably. So I'm like, what is happening in that hair?
There's just like bugs living in it. Like I bet there's a whole colony of like maggots inside. Oh, I'm gonna puke right now. I'm gonna throw up. I'm so grossed out.
Well, I almost made Andrew throw up when we were just talking about it, and then I'm like, oh man, I wish Phil was here because I've seen you react to that dude before.
It's unholy.
And so
it's toilet hair plus a dread.
Then I'm like, yeah, what happens when he goes to the bathroom?
Yeah, where does that
like,
thing go?
You know that thing's been in a toilet.
That thing is rubbed on bathroom floors,
on toilets, on.
Oh god.
And because then I'm like, what does he do when he sleeps? What does he do? Because so I'm like, if he doesn't wash it, he can't get it wet. So I'm like, does he have some kind of big cap?
It's all mildew.
Like what's going on?
He's got black mold.
And so that is a recipe for black mold.
What?
Like just like what you're talking about, like
that
situation.
Yeah, just sitting.
It's gotta be something's going on. So then I'm like, so Andrew's like, I made Andrew like gag just talking about it,
right
and
now.
then I like, and then I'm like, oh, we gotta get Phil out. So then I'm like, oh, Phil, because you were asking me like, what's going, like, how's it going over there? I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, your friend's here. And then I took a picture, and then I'm like, if I gave you $10,000 cash, and I said I will give this to you, but you gotta go and just take a bite. It's like, nah.
No amount of money.
No
way. That's
$1 million cash.
No way.
What about just to take a grab it?
Oh, gosh, I'm
run your hands, like reach in there.
No, because what's in there? That hasn't been washed like its whole life. Probably.
It's not worth. I'd do it for $10,000.
At $1 million, you get me thinking.
I'd touch it with my tongue for $10,000. Oh
gosh, no. At $2 million, I'd think of touching with my hand.
$2 million?
Yeah.
Come on.
But $2 million, I think I could set it aside and set up a plan where I could reasonably live off of a small income without having to work anymore.
That's worth.
Yeah, for the rest of our lives. I mean, I think I could set that aside.
I think I'd touch it with my tongue for $5,000.
Oh gosh, that's so disgusting. Do you know what's in there?
I don't have to know. I have $5,000.
Ugh. But then you'd have the knowledge of that taste. And what if you did it and that's all you could taste in food, and you could no longer enjoy food because it would taste like old?
I didn't say that's what was going to happen.
I'm just saying that is what would happen if you tasted it.
It wouldn't happen to me. I'd be fine.
Would.
I've tasted some gnarly things.
But what if you tasted it and you could never go back, and the rest of your life all you could taste is that ratty old dread?
I'd probably chop my own tongue out.
You probably lose a lot of weight, because like, imagine if you couldn't taste
Maybe
food.
That would be a good thing.
Maybe it would. But
I'd
what if you
never
like,
eat
starved
again?
to death?
No, I'd have to go on like a liquid diet.
But every time you drank a liquid, it would just taste like...
No, not drink. I just have to like get like...
just like an IV. But then your mouth would just constantly just have that taste in it the rest of your life.
Well, that would be horrible, but I don't think that's what would happen.
For 5,000
I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah. For old dreadlocks.
I'd do that for 50 million.
50 million, you'd have dreadlocks stench in your mouth for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that'd be worth $50 million.
I don't think there's any amount of money that would be worth that. Every day you wake up.
Because I think at some point I get used to it.
You wake up in the morning, you got like cotton mouth.
No, but after a while,
night,
dude, you could get used to anything.
and then the taste is just like
you could get used to anything.
Mildewy maggots.
After a while, I just be like, yeah.
Nope, not there's no price for me.
All right.
Well, there we go. That was LA Comic-Con.
Well, that happened. They're doing a 2-day one next time in January, and Michael Cudlitz is going to be there from Walking Dead and a bunch of other stuff.
Cool.
And you would know his face if you saw him. He's been in tons of stuff.
I'm familiar with his meat products.
Yeah. Yeah, all Cudlitz. He invented the Cudlitz.
Yeah.
It's Cudlitz.
Oh, okay.
That's like an off-brand.
Yeah.
It's made out of cud.
It's good. Cudlitz.
Oh my gosh, that sounds disgusting. You're eating a cud.
It's like dried out and they slice it. It's like a sushi.
Would you rather eat
Cud
the hair
sushi.
or a cudlet?
I'd eat cudlet before I eat the hair.
You would eat a cud?
Yeah. I mean, if before I eat the hair, because it's just grass. And if it's dried out.
Grossed out.
I mean, I'm not saying I would do it like for nothing.
You eat like cow. That's like cow vomit.
It's better than mildewy maggots and hair.
Okay, I just want to go on record that Phil would rather like eat cow puke.
Dried
cow puke.
No, it's the grass. It's actually grass.
But they're still like, it's got
Just
all their
saliva.
Dude, what if it was human cud?
That's grosser.
Why?
Because we eat cows. We don't eat people. I don't know. We've definitely lost
you
it.
have a weird brain.
Poor Jerry tonight. You know she loves our gross stuff.
She's fine.
Okay.
I'm saying that for her.
You're fine. You're gonna make it. Oh man. Yeah, I would definitely. You would eat hair. You would eat old moldy hair before you'd eat cud.
I'd eat all of it.
I would definitely do the cud first.
I don't know what I wouldn't eat for $10,000 cash.
Poop.
I might eat poop for $10,000. How much? One bite.
No, like a bowl.
No.
Multiple bites.
I don't know. Okay, we gotta stop this. What is that?
Okay, people have to know this. We used to do this for hours, not recording ourselves. Like, this is just something that I don't know why this is the game that we always do, but we'll do this for hours.
Okay. I don't know if there's any price that I would do for a bowl of, because also, like, I don't think I could force myself to eat a bowl of poop.
It's my poop. And I've specially curated it for you.
I don't think I would eat anybody else's. I think I would only eat my own.
Oh, but not someone you know?
No.
We're friends.
That's disgusting.
This is all disgusting.
Yeah, but I don't know. What are we doing right now?
I don't know.
But I'm like, even if I wanted to, even if you wanted to, I don't think you could get more than a bite of food down.
I don't think so.
Like, I think at some point your body would just completely, because also, like, isn't that like really dangerous?
Probably.
Like, I feel like if you would definitely get diseases.
I'm making myself gag now.
Like, couldn't you give yourself E. coli?
Oh, definitely. I think that's like a guaranteed thing.
So you'd probably die.
Well, you know you're getting into that.
But if you only get a tiny bit,
then
you'd be
it
fine.
takes much. So you're definitely getting E. coli, and you have to eat it. What's your price?
I remember when I was a kid, I had this conversation with my mom where I'm like, Mom, we can't eat our poo because then we die because we get E. coli. And she's like, why would I eat my
There's a lot of other reasons for that. All right.
Why do
at Comic-Con. You went to Comic-Con. LA Comic Book Center.
Okay, so today I was thinking of a song because there's that Lana Del Rey song, "The Summertime Sadness."
Okay.
I got that summertime sadness.
Ooh, summertime, we're walking on the beach.
That's not.
Yeah,
Well,
that's from Moving Sound.
My song right now is "I got that SummerSlam sadness."
Oh, something bad happened.
Well, first of all, I mean the show itself was pretty good, except it was 6 hours long.
Okay.
No, more than that. So it was a 2-hour pre-show, which I started. So it's at a certain point when I realized that I was like, I can't get home and just start watching from the beginning because again, it's because the pre-show was 2 hours and the show itself was 4 hours. So that's 6 hours. So I'm like, I have to start watching this while I'm at Comic-Con at the con because otherwise I will not get to bed until I have to watch it because otherwise spoilers. And so this is all going through my head and I'm freaking out. So I'm like, wait, I can watch it on my phone. And Andrew gave me one of his he had an extra easel thing for his because he had his pin boards on his little. So I put my phone in there and I just turned it on. I was watching it. It was great. and it was amazing. Even Andrew was blown away. He's like, this is perfect streaming HD on your phone and it hasn't skipped. He's like, this is live. I'm like, yeah, it's awesome.
That's cool.
And he's like, and he's like, no wonder you're so into this because you can watch this anywhere. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. It's great. And so we were watching, and even Andrew's kind of getting into a little bit because Jon Stewart was on the pre-show and all this stuff. And he's like, what is happening? What's going on? But anyway, so I watched the pre-show, the whole pre-show, and which started at 4. The pre-show started at 2 because the pay-per-view started at 4. So we were at the Shrine and we were at the Reef until 5. So I watched the whole pre-show and the first hour
while you were there.
While I was there on my phone, and then I took an hour off while I was driving, and then I got home and I only had to rewind an hour back.
Okay.
But I get there, so I get home. And it's I get home at 6:30.
Okay.
No. Yeah, 6:30-ish. And then I still had to watch the actual pay-per-view ended up being 4.5 hours. They went a half hour over. And normal pay-per-views are 3 hours. So this was 4.5 hours. Even WrestleMania was not this long because WrestleMania was 4 hours plus the 2-hour pre-show. And so I was like, this is too long. And that's coming from a guy that sat through 6 hours of WrestleMania, and then I went to a show after that.
So you have a podcast about wrestling.
But this was at a certain point, I'm like, this is too long.
Wow.
I almost fell asleep.
I don't think you've ever said that about wrestling before.
It was too long. It was too long. And the match placement was really weird. Because they have this, I don't know when they got this in their head that they need to, in between a really big match, a big match, they need to put a smaller match that so they'll have a big title match and they'll put a little match because they don't want the crowd to get worn out. But I'm like, I don't think there's any actual proof that that causes the crowd to not to react better because you get because it's it's kind of the same theory in High Fidelity and talking about the mixtape, it kind of peaks and valleys. But I'm like, I feel for a wrestling show, it should start. You have your undercard, then your middle card, then your main event card, and it shouldn't go because the way they do it now, it'll be big match, little match to get you back down, and then another big match, and then a little match, and another big match, and a little match, another big match. And after a while, I'm just I don't like this. This is
too... the circus sideshow.
Yeah, except I think it would flow better. I think it would flow just fine if they just did small matches, medium card, and then title match, title match, title match.
They're not alternating rings.
No,
it's all in the same thing. Okay.
But I just feel
because
like
we do that sometimes with concerts where we'll have like an easy setup playing while we're the other ones, so there's not downtime.
Yeah, but this is just to keep the crowd momentum going, and I don't know. The match placement was really weird, and then so already I was kind of like, but I mean, there were some great matches. I won't get into it because I don't know, you guys don't really care.
On your wrestling show, though,
we had to take 2 weeks off, so that's why I'm
okay.
So I'm kind of just like, I gotta get this like, first off, my two favorite wrestlers right now, well, two of are Finn Balor and Sasha Banks. Finn Balor finally made his main roster debut, and they are just strap a rocket on him. He's already competing for the new, so the WWE heavyweight title went to Smack because the brand split, which I talked about.
Right.
And so now the world title is on SmackDown. So Raw has to have, they created a new championship basically. And so Finn Balor is wrestling for this new championship already. He just started, but he's so awesome. Like they brought him up to the main roster. He's already like in this championship match. This is like a huge deal. This is huge. And he wins. And everything is great. Except he got injured during the match. He freaking separated his shoulder. So they post a clip on, like, at first I'm like, okay, this can't be true. This cannot be his luck that he freaking he like makes his debut on the first night that he wins this match to get put in the SummerSlam match, and then the SummerSlam match he wins. His mom's there all the way from Ireland, and then he separated his shoulder in the middle of the match. And they actually, this is kind of gnarly. They showed this video on the WWE YouTube channel where they basically slowed it down. You can see the moment where he separates his shoulder, he looks at it, and then he pops it back into place in the middle of the match, and then he kept wrestling.
Oh my gosh.
Which seems like a good idea, except I've heard every time when you do that, then it's just going to make it way worse.
Well, it seems like it makes you tougher, but it's also going to injure you worse.
Now he's probably going to have shoulder surgery, and those shoulder injuries can be bad. Ugh. And like, so then he came on tonight, then day after, and he had to give the belt back.
Why?
Because he's going to be out.
But so he can't doesn't get that title still?
Well, I mean, he will always be the first champion, but he only had it for one day, and then he had to.
Oh, because you have to be able to keep wrestling to have it. Oh, okay.
Well, if he's going to be out for 3 or 4 months, they can't just not have that title, and it's serious enough that it's probably going to be that long at least, because most shoulder injuries you're looking at 6 months, sometimes longer.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's just so much momentum, and it's so frustrating, and it's so sad. And then the other thing that happened is Sasha Banks is my other favorite, and she's awesome. She's amazing. And it's just like I said, the WWE women's division used to be this is totally garbage thing, and now it's finally this huge thing, and they're just on the same level. And Sasha Banks is one of the top stars, male or female. She's selling tons of merch. Everything's great. And then she loses the title to Charlotte in an awesome match, but I'm like, something's not right here. She looks hurt. And then it turns out the reason why she lost the title already is she's going to be out for a month because her back's injured.
Oh, man.
So they're already out. And I saw. So I said SummerSlam Sadness.
It's a good song.
And then that's what I have. But you know what else I have is the book corner.
Yeah.
But
I have a big thing in book corner when you're ready.
Oh, my gosh. You did it. Finally.
I did it.
Well,
I just did.
I am so close to finishing A Dance with Dragons, the 5th and so far final Game of Thrones book. And like I said before, it's helped me see just how great the show is that they're able to But this one has reminded me that there are entire storylines and characters that they haven't even brought in. And I think at this point in the storytelling, it means that they're not going to do those stories, and that's kind of interesting because there's some major characters and major stories, but I guess in the whole swing of things they don't really come into a big thing, and they're not even on the show, so people that haven't watched the show don't even know about this. Man. And I feel like if they did, they're kind of bombshell things, except it turned out, I don't know, it's hard to explain without really spoiling a ton of stuff, but it's weird knowing and not the obvious one if you're a Game of Thrones person. There's some ones that that never came to play.
How many kids do you think in high school have failed their book tests claiming they read these books, and the teachers were like, blah, blah, blah.
I don't think they're teaching these books in school.
Well, no. Well, at least in my school, you like had the opportunity to choose
ones,
and then you would take the test on them.
Oh, yeah. You
know, you have to prove that you like read it by
but
answering the questions.
Because, if you only watch the show,
yeah.
there are, again, not just like there's like entire storylines.
So it would just all be about that, and they'd have no idea.
Yeah. Because you could just be like, tell me all about this. Because it's like entire characters. And so you could be like, tell me about this character. And if somebody that's only watched the show, they'd be like, dude, you're screwed. So that's crazy. And then I am on the very last issue of Touch and Go, and I don't want it to end. And my Maximum Rock and Rolls aren't here yet. And because I'm like, it couldn't. But I bet you, knowing them, they are like DIY punk rockers. They probably sent a media mail.
Sure.
Who knows when they'll get here?
Yeah.
I feel like media mail is like whatever the post office feels like.
Yeah. They're just like, okay, throw this in the back, kick that around. So I finished Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
Finally.
Crazy ending, right?
Yeah, like the last spoilers. I guess if you haven't read it, whatever, blah blah. The last few chapters are great.
Yeah.
The rest of the book, this is my least favorite because
that's completely insane.
You have a big sporting event, and then you have another big long sporting event. It's 2 giant sporting events for the entire book.
But it's not a sport. Like they're going and they're like
but they're still cheering for them, and there's rankings and there's stadiums.
So to you, that means sport, and that means boring.
It's boring.
The whole Mer people thing, like for me, that's like such an intense part of the book. I mean,
it was fine.
And, like,
there were some good moments in there, but even still, that was just a competition.
And then like the mystery where he's trying to figure out the secret of the egg and like all that stuff.
Just a competition.
But the end, I mean, come on, that end is great. And then
the opening of that book is great.
And at the very end, when you realize like, oh, stuff got real.
Yeah, people can die now.
People can die now, and that does not. And now that that's happened,
I'm sure of it.
Brace yourself.
I'm sure of it. I have a feeling, but I really enjoyed the end, and the opening was great. And there was parts throughout. I already talked about my issues with the
let me
slave
ask
stuff.
you. So let me ask you, now that you finished book 4, at any point during book 4, did you have an inkling about Moody?
Yes, at the beginning when I'm like, so each year they get a new Defense of the Dark Arts. I didn't know how it was going to happen.
Okay.
I just thought he was going to be bad. But that's every single book so far. New Defense of Dark Arts teacher, then they're bad, or they're not who they seem to be, and then
I thought that was a good little.
It would be a twist if like
not a
Professor McGonagall was bad or something. Like then I'd be like, whoa! But it was the same. It's the same pattern, so it's a little samey for me.
All right,
but it's okay because the ending, that final few chapters is fantastic, and then I just started reading Order of the Phoenix. I've only read like the first 2 chapters or something, but it's a great start.
Well, the Order of, I think you'll like. I think from now on you're gonna really, really like.
Honestly,
it.
The sports.
There's
stuff
no more sports
because already like today I plowed through like 2 chapters.
I mean, there's a little like, and even in the now like. There's even not that much Quidditch going forward.
I don't mind like a little bit. It's just that was like the whole.
You only like a little Quidditch.
Just a little Quidditch.
Just a little Quidditch.
And it was a really long book, so I felt like maybe they could, if she had just trimmed out some of the sports stuff, it could have been like a reasonable length, and I wouldn't have to read about sports.
All right.
But I'm looking forward to this one. I'm not like giving up on it. I think I'll go much faster.
Well, now you've got the Order of the Phoenix,
which is the longest one.
But also like you have the actual Order of the Phoenix, and now like Voldemort
he's out
in play.
Yeah.
But this one, because Order of the Phoenix is interesting because you got emo Harry, and they're trying to convince the greater Wizarding world that Voldemort's back.
Yeah, which is crazy because he obviously is. Because I read it.
You know that.
I know that.
You can't put yourself in other, because it's like, okay, so like, could you imagine like adult wizards are like, all right, Harry, so you're saying like you got transported and Voldemort was there, and then like,
right.
I mean, I guess that would be kind of like.
But don't you think they have enough magical devices that they could just like?
Well, also the fact that like he killed somebody and he didn't just die.
Right.
Like,
you don't think that would take that seriously? And I mean, they've got I like the whole like swirling thing in Dumbledore's office where you can see like the thoughts. So I'm telling you, like you can't tell me that they couldn't take the thoughts from Harry and look at him or something. Like there's millions of magic ways they could know. But that's fine. I'm suspension of disbelief.
I never thought about that. Why didn't they just do that?
Yeah, then they can see, look, guys, check it out. I got his thoughts. Here they are. It's real.
Why didn't they do that?
Plot hole.
Huh.
I know. It's magic. There's got to be, or the truth serum that they were able to get.
Well, yeah, but then they ran out because they were using. Oh wait, you didn't get that far.
No, see, so they could have already used that. Anyway, there's other ways, but it's fine. That part, see, I'm fine with like forgiving some, magical world stuff. It's just like, oh, okay, who's in the first place? And there was a rankings and
you're
people
so
cheering.
like your aversion to sports is so
I
complete
don't enjoy it.
and total. It's just very amusing to me.
I know.
All right, so you're reading the Ramona books.
Oh yeah. So just one real quick. I've been reading through them. I don't always put the stuff.
Are they like really into it?
They love it. But tonight we started Ramona and her father. I don't know if you remember it, but Ramona and her father is like the Order of the Phoenix of the Ramona books.
Yeah.
Because they're all like silly and funny things happen at school. And this one opens up the first chapter, the dad loses the job.
Yeah.
And remember, like, then he's like staying at home, he's like smoking. Blah, blah, like it's all this stuff.
Is Audrey worried you're gonna start smoking?
Well, no, we haven't gotten that far. We just read the first chapter tonight, but like they're like laughing because there's some funny parts in the first chapter, but then they're like, I'm like, what do you think's wrong? And they're like, oh, maybe they they have to go to bed early or something. And then like the mom comes and says he lost his job, and they're like worried about how they're gonna have money, and our kids are just like stunned. Like they just have no concept.
Probably
of,
things they never even thought about before.
I think all of a sudden they're like, is that a thing that can happen? Like, so it's interesting. We talked about like what the tone of the book was. I'm like, how would you guys describe the tone of this compared to the others? And Audrey said it was nervous. It made her nervous. And Luke said it was serious. But they liked it. They're like, they want to read more. I'm like, you guys still like it? And they're like, yeah. But it's interesting seeing how, because I remember as a kid that being like, whoa, like this is where it gets real,
And that's what makes those books, and also the Super Fudge, because the Fudge books also dealt with a lot of as we've talked about when we've talked about them, these books deal with the real issues. They don't sugarcoat stuff.
Right. And I love that. And I love having being able to have those conversations with kids. It's an easy way to have that conversation with them. Like, how would you feel about this and stuff? So anyway, just wanted to mention that because that was cool.
That's cool.
That's left over, so we should move on.
All right. Well, WWE Network, I've been watching. They just had SummerSlam. While SummerSlam might have led to some sadness, they did have NXT Takeover, which my guy Shinsuke Nakamura, first of all, had the most amazing entrance of all time and one of the greatest entrances. So his entrance his music is mostly violin.
Okay.
So a dude came out and actually played the violin, and it was awesome.
Nice.
And then he did his whole thing, and it was awesome. And then he won the NXT Championship. And it's awesome, and I'm just really excited. And there's a lot of great matches, top to bottom, great show. They always put on a great show. And I was jealous. So Chris Hayner he was already in New York for another thing, so then he went to WWE. And in Dallas at NXT, we had balcony seats, and this time he was like ringside. He was like right there.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I see they upgraded your seats this time. And then that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
And then there's the Cruiserweight Classic, which is all cruiserweights, which is less than 205 pounds.
Oh, okay.
And they're small, and they do lots of cool stuff, and it's been really good. And then there's a new reality show, Mick Foley, Mankind, and it's like him and his family and his daughter. She tells him she wants to be it seems very heavily scripted.
Okay, I'm sure it is.
But she tells him that she wants to be a wrestler, and he completely flips out. And but it's really entertaining.
I'm sure that this is completely spontaneous.
Yeah,
right?
But it's cool seeing his family, and also I didn't know that because I knew he had two younger sons because he had when Beyond the Mat happened, he had Noelle, because it's Noelle from in Beyond the Mat, she's a little kid, and now she's 24, she's grown up, which is weird seeing as if anybody's ever seen Beyond the Mat, one of the famous scenes in it is from Royal Rumble in Anaheim in 1998, where The Rock hit Mankind with a chair for reals 10 times, and his kids are watching, and at some point they're freaking out so much that the mom has to take him away because they're watching their dad just get pummeled with a chair. He had to get 16 stitches, and it was gnarly. Was
that a mistake, or that was
planned? That was a planned thing, because back before they knew that maybe hitting people with chairs to the head is a bad idea. This is pre-concussions and CTE and all that stuff, and so and it was as the basically the saying in wrestling, and especially at the time, was blood red means dollar green.
Huh.
Was a saying. That's a real saying in wrestling.
All right.
But now that they've known better, most wrestling organizations, especially WWE, don't do any of that.
No brain injury equals get to keep wrestling.
Yeah, don't die or kill your family.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Those aren't as catchy though. So.
Well, anyways, so it's a pretty entertaining show, and I was watching that.
All right.
This is a little bit old, but New Japan World, there was the G1 Climax tournament, which I've talked about this previous years. It's 22 shows.
Yeah.
In about as many, in a little bit more days. And at first this year, I didn't think I was going to be able to keep up, but it was getting so good that I somehow managed to pull it off.
Huh.
And I watched almost the whole thing. I skipped a little bit.
Okay.
But I watched like the last 7 or 8 days. I watched them all.
Wow.
And in a row, like I watched them, and then I even watched the last night of the tournament live. I stayed up.
Wow.
Because I had to know. And because it was the guy that won it this year. He's the first Westerner to win it. So that was very exciting. His name's Kenny Omega. He's also way into video games. He has a YouTube channel, streams video games sometimes. He's really cool, and I was really happy that he won it. And then I guess Lucha Underground's done for the season. The new season starts soon, though. Very excited because in the first, I think it's the second set of episodes, Benson and I are in like the front row of one of the little boxes of the season 3, the first few episodes.
Nice.
So you'll be able to see me and Benson when that starts. And then I'm watching Pretty Little Liars. It's completely not. If you asked me to tell you what was like in a nutshell what was going on, I could not tell you.
No nutshell.
I don't know what's going on anymore. There's like multiple like. I don't know what's going on. I really don't, but I gotta see this through.
Okay.
And then so then Netflix, Amazon just like out of almost nowhere was like, hey, we got our new pilot season and here's the shows, and one of them's The Tick.
Yeah.
So everybody needs to go on Amazon and vote. Did you actually do the survey?
No, I haven't yet.
You got to go do the survey.
I just watched it last night, I think. Was it last night? No. Couldn't have been.
I thought it was
Friday.
I thought it was amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't like it?
I was just okay with it.
Is it too dark for you?
It's not that it's too dark. It's that it was a really weird mix of tone. Like
I loved it.
The Tick himself.
I thought Arthur was great.
But Arthur's like an accountant and he's like neurotic. He's not a.
He is neurotic.
No, but he was like a conspiracy nut who's like drugged and. I mean, I know
he is a conspiracy nut.
Yes, but it's different. It's a different kind of conspiracy nut. I don't know how to describe it.
But this is written by the guy.
I know, but here's the thing. This is what I feel like. I feel like he's like, look, I gave everyone the perfect like live action Tick show and it didn't go anywhere, so now I got to do the DC gritty it up thing to make it appeal to wider audience.
I thought it was still really entertaining and funny, and
it was, but it was just too uneven for me. I mean, I'm going to see it through. I'll watch it.
Well, you better vote.
But I don't know. Like
I liked it.
I mean, obviously there's some big shoes to fill. I know Patrick Warburton is producing it.
I liked it a lot.
It was the guy what's the guy who's playing it? Who's playing the Tick? He's in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he's a British comedian. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But he's really funny. I think he was a great Tick. He did a great job. It was just there's too much like brooding. I don't want brooding, but in the Tick, I don't want brooding. I want funny.
But it wasn't like brooding. It was like almost
brooding.
It was almost like making fun of brooding.
No, not far enough. There was too much actual brooding. Not from the Tick. The Tick stuff was great, but everyone else brooded.
I thought
I want like quick quips and funny plays on words, which I got some of, but not near enough.
Well, maybe the next episode.
Well, that's why I said I'll see it through. But
I liked it.
I was just okay with it. That was my take.
Well, I also watched. I haven't watched I've heard the Kevin Bacon show is actually really funny. I just didn't get to it.
Okay.
The
other pilot.
Yeah.
They're all on Amazon pilot season.
And so the one that I did watch because it is completely bonkers.
Okay.
It's called John Claude Van Johnson, and so whereas JCVD was like still kind of serious,
right,
but not like
where it was sort of tongue in cheek, but it was also like we still want to make a very good action movie, and it did that, but it was also kind of insane. This is completely tongue in cheek and just completely insane, because the reason why it's called Jean-Claude Van Johnson, because this is Jean-Claude Van Damme is playing himself. He is Jean-Claude Van Damme, except in this universe, the whole time Jean-Claude Van Damme has been Jean-Claude Van Damme, he also is a secret agent for some unknown secret agency.
Okay.
And his agent name is Jean-Claude Van Johnson. And so he goes on these acting jobs, as that's his cover. And then he goes on these missions.
It's like Elvis's plan to go undercover.
And that's what he's doing. And he has a partner and everything. And then, like, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
And there's lots of really funny jokes. There's one of the running jokes is that, like, Looper ripped off Time Cop. And like and like, it's really funny. It's bananas.
So which one do you pick then?
Well, I picked both.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to pick one between the other. You review each one.
Each one. Okay.
There's like a survey. It's like rate on this, rate on that. What did you like about this? And I think they're just gonna go off of, and I think they can pick multiple ones.
I'm sure they can.
I hope they pick at least both of these, because they're really great. And then, so we've been on because we've been talking about it, because Josh was talking about it on Soapbox Office podcast. I wanted to watch more of Werner Herzog, and also it was like I couldn't sleep Saturday night.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I need something to like kind of like get me calm and peace. And so I'm like, Herzog does a pretty good job of that. and I didn't want to watch something because at first I'm like, I'll just watch Cave of Forgotten Dreams, because that's one of my go-to Herzog movies, because it's like in a cave and it's peaceful and it's a lot of narration. Because some movies he doesn't have a lot. Some he lets the character speak. Other times it's all him narrating, and like sometimes it's a mix. So I'm like, I need something to like. But then I also didn't want to watch something really disturbing. Like, I don't think I could handle watching like Grizzly Man or something.
Right, that's not gonna put you to sleep.
And so I'm like trying to find, because the one that I haven't watched is the like inmate one, where like the inmate's on death row or something.
Yeah, I haven't watched that.
And I want to watch it, but I think I have to find the right time.
To sleep, right.
And then I tried to watch Dinotopia, and as I talked about, I think last episode,
right,
it like I started crying because this baby raptor got murdered by a brontosaurus. Although, aren't they not actually called brontosaurus?
Yeah, it's like a patasaurus
now. Because this freaking patasaurus just bonked him with his tail and broke his face off. And he died. And he was like a baby raptor.
Man.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't handle it. So I'm like, all right, I got to find something else. So there's one on Hulu called Happy People that I never even heard of.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Okay. So here's where, because we were talking about hold on, I gotta find the whole title, because there's this. So it's about these people in Siberia.
Okay.
And so there's this wooded part of Siberia that's like as big. It's 1.5 times the size of the United States, and it's almost all woods.
Okay.
And it's in like the far north, like where Siberia is.
Right.
A year in the taiga. So it's this place called the taiga.
Okay, yeah.
So are you familiar
with it? Yeah.
So so you know how we were not arguing, but discussing Sasquatch and Yeti and stuff.
Right.
Okay, looking at this freaking taiga, which is uninhabited. Again, the size 1.5 times the size of the United States, largely uninhabited, largely woods and other. Dude,
if it
who
was there,
knows
that's where it would be.
what is in there?
Yeah.
Who knows what's in that place? And especially watching these trapper guys going around in there, because there's these so he basically goes out, him and his crew, they go out to this village and they stay with these people. Like I think they stayed with them for an entire year,
right? Because
it's watching them through. And these are they're like, so it's these Siberian guys, and so there's a village, and then it's like. But even the village, they're all it's all because they're so isolated, it's basically self-sustaining, borderline Amish, except they have like he said like the only modern conveniences they really have that they brought in from the outside are like chainsaws and snowmobiles. Everything else they like make themselves, or they like their traps.
they've been doing the traps the same because it follows these trappers, and they do like they trap what is it, mink and but not sable is their big thing. Is sable, and but the traps that they use, these are the same traps that they've been doing for thousands of years, and it's like very like these like simple traps, but they're very, because they're so like in tune, like they're very painless. They're all about like and they're also about sustainability. Like they don't just like trap willy-nilly, or they try and, because they talk about there's these bad trappers that they don't like are the ones that like they take too much and they don't let them like reproduce, or like they only like, because these guys, they're all about sustainability, because this is all they have and this is how they survive, and the reason why they're happy, because it's like why it's called happy people, is because like these guys live like this, it's like this perfect life where they're just, all they're doing is like it's like they're like, because when they're not out trapping, they're farming, because everything has to come, so like all their tools, their houses, their everything, and it's just living out there. It was amazing, and all to the wonderful sound of freaking Herzog, and I was just, it just really put me in a good place.
It was a good sleep
and following these guys and just watching them, everything they do, and I'm like, I would be so dead. Like I would be screwed, because like it gets to this one point where the guy's like a bear, like almost, because like, so the trappers, they're just out, it's like they go out there and they stay out there for like most of the winter. They're just out there and they each have their own territory, but each trapper's territory is like 2,000, 3,000 square miles.
Whoa.
And like and so again like and so they're like just out there, and they basically set up their main camp, and then they go out, and every like certain amount of miles they set up like little huts, like but they're cabins. These are like, they basically build these cabins, and like, and then they have like, so they have like their whole area, so they can go out, and they got like their traps, and then another cabin, and then more traps, and then another cabin, and so they're always within a day of another cabin. So that's how they can cover their whole territory, but not.
That's cool.
And it's just really cool. But I'm also, but the problem is there's bears, and so that's why they hunt during the winters, because that's when the bears are hibernating. But they have to set up all their stuff during the summer. So in between the summer and the winter, a bear might have destroyed their whole cabin, and so then they got to rebuild it. So there's this one part where he gets to a point where he gets to one. So he spent a lot of time working on this trap, and he's like, well, there's a cabin within like this much hike. He gets there, it's like destroyed. It's like partially destroyed by a bear. So he's like, well, I can't get to another cabin before it's like gets dark. And if it gets dark, like, you could freeze to death if you're not like, inside, inside. So he has like a certain number of hours. So like, he's like, I gotta fix this cabin. And it's like, oh gosh, that's crazy. And like, I don't know.
At that point, probably,
I'd be dead.
All right.
Dead.
Time to just fall asleep in the forest.
But they're like preparing all their food and all these things, and they go out and they're like canoeing down these, and it just seems nuts. Like it's just, and they build so they have they have boats with outboard motors, like, so I guess they have outboard motors. But then they also have like regular canoes that they make their boats. And it shows them making their boat. And then they have like skis that they like use to traverse the terrain. They make their skis. And it shows how they make the skis, and like, because they have to make because they can't just go and buy.
Out there.
It's crazy, man.
That's awesome.
It's really good. So that was
really good.
Really
awesome.
That
on Amazon?
That is on Hulu.
Hulu, okay.
It's called Happy People: A Year in the Taiga, and also just thinking about the taiga, because again, it's the size. It's 1.5 times the size of the United States, and it's just giant uninhabited woods and wilderness.
Who knows what's out there?
Because anything could be out there, and I don't know. It just seems really crazy, and there's a lot of like going over giant ice flows, and it's really beautiful just to watch.
I'm sure it is.
I don't know, but I'm also just thinking about like it'll make you want to simplify your life and like live off the land.
I get that feeling when I watch horrors too. So either side kind of pulls at me.
And then I've talked about before that I got CISO now.
Yeah.
And I hadn't actually like really watched much stuff on it, but I did, and so I was also trying to sleep, and I wanted to like watch something goofy, so I watched. So I started watching Mighty Boosh again. That show is just so amazing.
Still haven't watched that.
Oh my gosh, it's so good, and it's on CISO, and it's awesome. And the songs are so like you have to watch it because I think you would just absolutely love it.
I just
like,
never. It's
well,
never
I've shown
on
you
anything.
like, well, it's not, and that's
I've
the
seen
thing.
Clips.
And didn't you watch like one? With
Maybe
me?
so. I think so, but it's always been hard to find. So
Because oh my gosh, it's so funny, and it's so weird, it's so goofy. So I love. And then I watched the first episode of Harmon Quest.
Oh yeah,
and it is awesome. So like Spencer like created this whole adventure, and it's his own custom adventure. But I think they use the Pathfinder system.
Okay,
but he created it from scratch because he's credited as the writer for the series. And then they filmed these live. So they filmed them playing it live, and then they went in and animated it all. Like so it'll cut back and forth. But like whatever they're talking about, like they animated
That's
it.
cool.
And it's and then they have a guest player every. The sad thing about Harmon Quest, if you know anything about Dan Harmon, Aaron. Well, so you saw the Harmontown documentary.
Yeah.
So you know, like in the Harmontown documentary, Aaron, his wife, is still his wife, but last year they got divorced.
Oh.
And so she's in Harmon Quest too. And now that you know, because she like they split amicably, but she's not like part of anything anymore.
Huh.
And so seeing her back, her and Dan, it's kind of like oh. And also she's really funny, and so but he has a new girlfriend, so I hope everybody's happy. But it is cool though to see like Spencer like in his element, and also just knowing Spencer's story, that Spencer went from going to Harmontown as just to get to he wrote and produced a show.
Yeah.
And that all came from him
being in the audience.
He's like the best version of my possible timeline.
That's pretty cool.
But because you were there when I met Spencer, and I'm like, yeah, I had the same, except yours went way better than mine. But Spencer, it's cool seeing like I don't know, it's just really cool.
That is cool.
And it's really funny. In the first episode, the guest was Paul F. Tompkins, and he was really funny. And again, when they animate everything, oh my gosh, it's just really funny. It's really good. If you don't even have to like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff to think it's really funny, because it's comedians and better yet, like really good improvisers, and they just go because like Paul F. Tompkins had never even played a role play because he's like I had never really, and he just gets into it. And like there's this part where he like has to like make, because they're like you have to say the oath of this, and they're like all right, do it. And he does it just right off just does it. That's and cool. It's pretty cool. It's really funny. What about you? Well, you watched talk about
Tick.
And then
been still watching Gordon McGibbon's Life on Normal Street. I cannot recommend it enough on Amazon. My goodness, it is so good. We're getting like to the end of this last season, and it's like the emotional stakes have risen. And it's another one of those great shows that have talks with the kids, because they handle some like serious subjects, but in like a friendly manner. But adults should watch it too. It's fantastic.
It's cool.
That's my other thing there.
All right, Netflix. I watched the second episode of The Get Down. I still really dig it. People seem to be pretty high on it. I've read some really nitpicky posts about how they get some stuff wrong but it is a fictional show, so they kind of play a little fast and loose with like timelines, and because like they're like this band that they use wasn't popular until this time, or this and I'm like, all right, come on, like it's still I really like it. I like it a lot, and it's on Netflix. I'm down with The Get Down.
All right.
You watching TNG?
Well, yeah, just a few more episodes. I think I'm almost done with the first season of Next Generation of Star Trek. It's good. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's a good like put it on and like while I'm doing the dishes kind of thing. I don't have to like focus too much on it. It's sort of breezy entertainment.
All right. Well, I think it's time.
It is time. It's what everyone's been waiting
to blow our minds.
It's Marmaduke time. All right. Here's what you're going to see. You can look at this as I read it here.
So the thing that you showed me that was crazy was Marmaduke is looking into a hole, and there's like a rabbit or a mouse.
I think they're rabbits.
Like tucking away baby rabbits, and they're talking.
All right. Well, he's
looking into a hole, and there's talking rabbits.
So Marmaduke the first panel here, Marmaduke's got a bone in his mouth and he's digging a hole. Second little panel, he's getting a little deeper. He's obviously trying to bury the bone. But then all of a sudden he's shocked and he drops his bone and he's looking down and this word bubble comes up out of the hole and it says, "Hush, children." And then Marmaduke looks deeper into the hole and it says, "Don't wake your father." And then it shows Marmaduke looking in the hole down at this anthropomorphic bunny family who has like furniture and pictures around, and they're all talking to each other. The kids say, "But Mama," and then the mommy rabbit says, "He's exhausted." And Marmaduke's still watching through this hole, and he says, "He delivered Easter eggs until dawn." And then Marmaduke, and then it shows back outside, Marmaduke buries the hole, and then Marmaduke erects a sign that he made which says, "Do not disturb."
What the crap?
Yes.
So Marmaduke somehow finds the Easter Bunny?
Which can talk. They're anthropomorphic. They live in his backyard. And Marmaduke can make a sign.
How did Marmaduke make that sign?
I don't know. But he had apparently either that or he just found one laying around.
Do you think only Marmaduke... Do you think if somebody else were to find these rabbits, they wouldn't hear anything?
I don't know. But see, in other ones, it showed Marmaduke talking to animals, but you don't hear, like, there's no word bubbles.
Also, it's the Easter Bunny.
It's the Easter Bunny. So he's in this, like, fantasy fiction world now.
Because he can travel between worlds.
He can travel. Yeah, he's a spirit, so he's just dug down into the Easter Bunny's realm.
It's really weird seeing Marmaduke look in this hole.
Yeah, and it's, like, creepy, and it's, like, these weird... like anthropomorphic rabbits in clothes with furniture. That's just it's so bizarre.
This is probably the Easter strip.
Yeah, but like
it's still really weird.
That's a really weird Easter strip.
And also Marmaduke made a sign.
And Marmaduke made a sign. He can construct signs.
And also I'm sure if you were walking along and you saw a hole with a sign on it that said "Do not disturb," what's the first thing you're gonna do?
What's going on here?
What's going on down there?
Yeah.
If you lifted up a "Do not disturb" sign, you found a bunch of talking rabbits.
Yeah. Well, plus they never seem to notice that he's like staring at them from this hole he just dug into their ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand.
Does that mean the Easter Bunny lives in their backyard, or is he again in some parallel dimension?
Yeah, he could just because it doesn't.
Is this like a Nightmare Before Christmas, where wherever Marmaduke can go,
just dug into a different,
and he like just sees all the different?
Well, because if you look at all the scenery where he's not in the hole, there's no background. It's just Marmaduke against a white plane.
It is.
So he's in every single one of these.
In the Matrix.
He's just in like some sketchboard somewhere.
That's his real home.
He's not. He doesn't exist on our world.
That's his true home.
So that's like his spirit realm or something.
Dude,
I mean that's weird.
Because it would make sense because that's probably when he's watching TV too, because that's his spirit TV.
Right, where he can control the TV. And now he can talk, he can understand, and they speak English, these anthropomorphic creatures. I mean that's when I peaked that last week. That's what I saw. I saw rabbits talking with word bubbles. And I'm like, what's happening right now?
Because we have never heard, because we have come to understand that Marmaduke can talk to animals,
right?
But we've never heard the other animals talk.
Right, it's just sort of like the turkey says gobble gobble, and they just understand each other. Like but now they're speaking English to each other.
This cannot be Earth.
No, because again, I think that it's important that there are no backgrounds. It's all just on a white plane.
So this is proof that Marmaduke lives in a spirit realm.
Yeah. So this is while he's...
And he's also not 20 feet tall like he was last episode.
Right. I mean, like here...
He's back to pretty normal size.
Yeah, that's he's about the same size with the dog.
He's pretty normal size, whereas the previous week's episode, he's as big as the house.
Yeah, he's like
he can't fit in the door.
I've seen smaller horses than this. Look at
that. This is so as we've established, he can control his size in the Earth realm.
And if you look here, he's got backgrounds here in these planes, whereas here there's no background. It's just he's in a
This is a subtle hint.
Yeah.
From Brad Anderson.
This is
like if you know what's going on, this strip is gonna blow your mind. Otherwise, you're gonna think it's some little cute Easter thing.
Easter bunny, but we know.
But if you already know, if you know what we know,
if you've been paying attention, people.
Very crazy.
And rabbits can talk in this world. Because up until this point, I mean, aside from Marmaduke having spiritual things, he lives in somewhat of a realistic world.
Except he's not real.
He's not, but he's the only
exception. But the world itself has rules.
The world around him has rules.
Whereas
and now he's in this blank plane.
Where the Easter Bunny lives.
Yeah, in the ground. With furniture.
Which means that in Marmaduke land, Easter Bunny is real.
Yeah. And Marmaduke also is people because he clearly understands the English they're speaking.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, that's established. And he made a sign. So we got that too. Whoa. Dude.
So nuts.
I mean, he's in another dimension at this point. There's no other explanation for this.
All right.
Oh, Marmaduke.
Well,
all right.
That's going to do it.
That's it.
This is your very last chance. If you're listening to this on Thursday or Friday, come on down to Comic-Con Palm Springs.
Yeah, join us.
We're there.
We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
It's going to be off the chain. Like, who knows what's going to happen this weekend?
Go to ComicConPalmSprings.com, or better yet, go to Groupon.com. Type in Comic-Con Palm Springs. Get those tickets, $39 for the whole weekend. You can, if you go to the BrendoMan Network page, that's got the full schedule from our events. Because as of right now, the schedule on the website is not correct, and who knows if they will be able to fix it.
Beforehand,
but you can go to BrendoManNetwork.com for the full schedule.
And we'll post it in Radio BrendoMan
group. Yeah. And check it out. Be there. If you're going to be there, come. We'll have stuff and things, and
fun.
It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be an entire weekend of just us and our friends doing stuff.
Lots of, if you're into all that stuff.
And thousands of other people hanging around.
And Lou Ferrigno.
That's right.
And Flash Gordon.
And Stan Lee.
Flash, savior of the universe. I was talking with Lindy about, like, there had to have been a point in when they're making that movie where they realize, oh, this is because, like, nothing about it looks like, because it's like, I mean, I think they made it that way on purpose.
Yeah, you kind of get that feel that maybe there's a little wink there, but
like there had to have been, but then they had to have spent a lot of money on. They got freaking Queen, not just to record that song about specifically, but they made a music video.
Yeah,
and like
a movie tie-in one.
Yeah, and it's not just like, because it's like a full-on movie tie-in video with Queen in it, and I'm just like, that must have been a lot of money. That just seems weird for like an obvious B movie.
Yeah,
and like, but it's still awesome.
I think maybe they were counting on some.
They were hoping, because like,
I
mean.
But
I don't know, but like the whole thing is a freaking mess. But
it's fun though.
The movie's great. It's a goofy, and just watching the clips in the Queen music video, I'm like, I want to watch this again. So I started watching it again, and then I got sidetracked.
I had it on VHS. Shocker.
Yeah, because I remember watching it with you at least a couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like all we did in college was watch movies.
I had a lot of movies. We had to watch them
and
a lot.
Play GoldenEye.
Yeah.
That's all I remember about college.
Yeah,
at least my Biola.
What did we study again?
Like, I don't remember I don't remember very many going to classes at Biola, to be honest. But I remember watching movies in your room. I remember playing so much GoldenEye. I remember the day we put. I remember when we instituted the no odd job rule, because that was one of Jonathan's go-tos. I think it was either Jonathan or Dave was a go-to odd job. And then if you like, because, oh man, GoldenEye. They came out with this new version of GoldenEye they did it in the Source engine, and I almost downloaded it because they're like, you can play it online for free. And then I'm like, I can't do this. That almost like ruined. Because like I mean, I always joke around. Like my freshman year of college, I majored in GoldenEye. Like and it almost cost me. I almost
can't do that again.
No, that was like all I did.
And with online,
I just remember at some point. I remember being in there, like Jonathan and David. I remember when Jonathan and David would either be asleep or not there, and there would still be people. They were all hours. Yeah. There was always somebody that would play. There was always an opponent or multiple opponents. And like I remember sometimes we'd have like 8 people in there and trading off tournament style, and like
they also played a lot of Mario Kart in there.
room. Yeah. Josh just got in here.
Just in time for us to say
we are still going. We're wrapping up right now.
Yeah.
We were. I mean, now we got sidetracked again. We're talking about GoldenEye.
But we were about to say thank you,
Josh,
everyone,
did you play that GoldenEye Source game? Because we were just talking about how I probably shouldn't because I would get totally sucked in.
Yeah.
Although, what if I would play it and then I realized, like, this isn't good anymore? Which some people, maybe see, Josh is one of those people.
Yeah.
Were you way into it and now like because I feel like were you way into it? It was only good because you never played Quake. There you go. You're one of those guys. I don't know. I could never get into.
No, but what I'm saying is, I think that your generation, how old you are, determines what is your frame of reference.
Although I guess there was a period where I got into Quake 2 a whole lot because I got the Quake 2 pack, and then like that got because that was where they really got the multiplayer like really like, and I was way into that because like Quake 2 like invented rocket jumping. I feel like that was like where it got really big and like all that stuff. And yeah,
he also said he played a lot of Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem was the first thing I ever actually figured out how to get to play online, and that didn't because because with Doom, if you wanted to play online and you didn't know somebody and to play online with randos, you had to pay. Like those, it was like before there was like there was these networks, but you had to pay and they were expensive. My mom would not let me do any of that, and so. So then I figured out how to play Duke Nukem online, and then I met some friends. And the thing that we played on LAN at my high school, because we had all Apples, we actually played Marathon, which is the precursor to Halo for all you.
You guys had internet at your high school.
Well, it wasn't internet; it was like a LAN network.
Oh, but did you have internet at your high school?
No. Well, in my high school, actually, yes.
I think my senior year they got internet at my high school.
I went to
That's how old I am.
I went to my first school that I went to, the private school in high school I went to. One of the actual founders of Apple, he's one of he's a guy that doesn't get mentioned much, but he was a pretty key player. His son, and he donated a ton, and he paid for a fiber optic connection.
Wow.
Back. I can't imagine how much that cost in 1994.
Jim Delicious, right?
Yeah.
One of those Apple guys.
Oh my gosh, you're such a dork. Oh, that is the stupidest thing you've ever said. That's pretty up there.
Josh is here. I had to say something to irritate him.
I'm not even. There's nothing coming.
He can't even type right now. He's so angry.
No, it was Gordon Crispy. So anyway,
oh man,
his name's John. If you want to look him up, I think it was Tim Couch, something Couch, but he was like one of the business guys behind like yeah. But anyways, but yeah. So we had a fiber optic line in like 1994, so it was like crazy, and like, but like that was back when we're like, I don't even know what to do with this, and like, because that was when the World Wide Web was like mostly text. And I remember getting in an argument with somebody because I'm like, no, this is gonna be huge. And he's like, no, like, what do you even do with this? Like, oh, what? There's a page of something like big deal. I'm like, no, this is gonna change our lives. Because I was like,
not seen War Games. I mean, come
on.
He
didn't understand. He's like, how can you do that through a web browser? He didn't, because again, it was so primitive. Like this is like Netscape Navigator 1.0. And I was like, but I don't know. I've always been able to see the big picture with technology. And so I'm like, no, we're going to be doing everything through this.
You invented that song. Oh, I love technology.
But I remember getting in a really big argument. He's like, no, this is never going to go anywhere. It's going to be a novelty. And I'm like, no, like this is it. And, but anyways, so we had that. And then, but then like at Torrey Pines, like we had internet, but it was like real crappy. And we had like old, like I remember the computers were like ancient dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't as big of a thing. Now Audrey is in second grade and she has her own laptop.
Oh yeah, it's freaking
like all the kids do.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Kids at our school all have Chromebooks and stuff, but anyway, so on that Apple, because we had that fiber optic network, and we figured out like, oh, you can use Apple Talk, which was like their LAN thing,
right.
And when we figured out that all the computers were talking to each other, because like again, this was all so new, and nobody at the school like was really aware of like, and I'm like, wait, and like the super tech nerds. We figured this out, and then we're like, oh, there's this game, and we figured out how to put it on all the computers. And it was Marathon. It was Bungie's first game, and maybe not their first game, but it was their shooters. Again, like this is where Halo came from.
Okay.
And then we're like, we can play this, like, and we would play, and we did it like during class, like all the time. It was great.
The only video games we got to play in class was the stuff we programmed on our
Drug
calculators.
Wars, Dope Wars.
Well, no, we would just make up
Oh yeah,
because ours are like
text
again,
RPGs.
So, no, even more simple. Like we had like blackjack and pick a number and that kind of thing.
We did those.
But let me tell you, when you're bored in class, you can play a lot of blackjack. It's pretty great.
Well, it's been pretty great talking to you today.
Yes, it has.
We can't finish the second episode in a decent time.
Well, we should finish it now because we're doing it.
Well, go to RadioBrendo.com, rate and review, subscribe. Don't forget all that stuff.
Come see us at Comic-Con Palm Springs this weekend.
Yeah. And see Josh yell at Phil.
That's right.
That's going to happen.
It's inevitable at some point.
And I think we're going to have a very successful megacast since everybody's going to be there.
We're all going to be there.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to a lot of things. And I'm looking forward to talking to you guys next week.
Well, next episode you'll hear after this will be our live episode.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And then the Thursday episode will be us talking about probably
other stuff.
Recap and another Marmaduke.
We'll still do Marmaduke. Well, we're gonna do a Marmaduke live. We got to.
Yeah.
We have to.
Okay.
Come on.
I'll make sure to remember.
Don't forget Marmaduke.
Don't forget Marmaduke.
DFM.
DFM. That's probably something bad.
Probably. Don't Google that.
Just like you didn't know what a shocker was.
I did not. I don't want to know.
I gotta post the picture of you
doing that all over the place.
I didn't realize that's what it was. I didn't realize that's what he was doing, so that's what you were doing. And when I made that realization, it was amazing. And I'm gonna find a picture of you doing a shocker.
Now, to be fair, he did.
Phil didn't know. So here's the whole story. We'll do this real quick. So in the ride video at Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster, which opened in like the mid 90s. So it's been open since like I feel like mid 90s.
I don't know.
It's been open forever. And Josh says it.
Yeah.
So I guess the way he did it, I've never seen somebody do it that way before.
Well, according to that thing you posted, he wasn't exactly doing it. It was similar, but not exactly.
Well, he said that's what he's doing.
But I'm saying he did it different than the post said.
Yeah.
So that's why.
So there's this part where Steven Tyler, like you see the band and they're with their manager, and Steven Tyler does the shocker, except he's holding it against his head.
He makes an inappropriate gesture.
And it's weird.
It's cryptic.
But it's like holding it against his head is weird. So Phil, I guess the first time he started, like, well, that's pretty. Look at what Steven Tyler.
It was a dumb
thing that he's doing. So Phil would do it all the time. He's like, look, I'm with Steven Tyler. And so there's lots of pictures of Phil doing it. And then just like a month ago, they digitally removed it from the video. So I'm like, did it take that long for them to figure out that that's what he was doing? Or did it take them that long to figure out how to remove it? Or did they just now somebody complained?
Probably.
Like,
I think the latter. I think they didn't want to bother if no one.
Does Phil know what it means when you put a V shape with your hand under your mouth and stick your tongue out?
Yeah, I'm not like, you don't have to like know anything to know that. This one is like, it's totally random. You didn't know. You didn't say anything at the time.
Because I didn't know that, but I know what the shocker is. I just didn't know that that's what he was doing.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. Didn't say anything.
Because again, he did it weird, and I didn't know because I thought that I thought that was some weird Steven Tyler thing. So as soon as I saw the article, and then I'm like, oh, and then I was like, oh my gosh, Phil was doing this the whole time. Phil was doing this shocker. Yes, but there's a picture.
Most people don't know what that is.
A lot of people know.
Most people don't know it. I have no idea.
The way I found out about it was because there was a big. I even linked to the article when people thought George Bush was doing it, but then it turned out apparently ASU's hand signal and the shocker are very similar.
It's just a silly thing. It's like a junior high.
Well, then I found that, and then I'm like, I guess Phil needs one of these goofy. Because then I found one of those articles like, what are these hand signs that my kids are doing mean? And so I posted it.
So dumb, but it was funny.
It was so stupid. And then like I guess Phil does, because I'm always like, who reads it? I'm like, I guess Phil needs one of these.
I wouldn't actually read it though, but
with the lingo.
Anyway.
Well, that's like, I remember there was all these like parent guides to slang, and they were always really stupid and outdated.
Yeah,
they'd be like,
can't keep up with
they'd
that.
be like, they're like, this means drugs, and like this means sex.
Yeah, if you're reading an article on the internet or in a book or a newspaper about it, then you don't have any idea.
You have
like,
no
it's not
idea,
helping
and you need to
all.
stop, and you probably just need to talk to your kid.
Yeah, like have a conversation. It's not that hard. It's really not.
I don't know. What are you gonna do when your kids are doing weird hand gestures?
Kids are not idiots. That's the thing.
But I just thought that was funny. And you can read all about that in the Radio BrendoMan
Yeah, that's in there.
Facebook group, and I'm gonna find that picture. That's gonna be our new cover photo.
All right.
I think that's funny. All right, so that's gonna do it for this week. So for Radio BrendoMan, I'm Brendan Creecy.
And I'm Phil Vecchio.
Have a good one, everybody. Oh, Josh, and the newest extra damage, like it sounds like you're like scraping the microphone the whole time. What was up with that?
He was scraping the microphone.
Because it sounded like, I thought maybe it was like he was rubbing his beard against the microphone.
It's his headphone.
Okay. I couldn't tell what that was.
Hey, this is off subject.
Oh,
kind
the
of
inline mic.
Did you get a chance to talk to Jesse at all? Any information about that? Because what Brendan and I were thinking too, if it only works for him to do it on Saturday, that we could like maybe rearrange things and just do it near when you guys are going to do it. You have a projector but not a screen. I think my brother might have a screen.
Well, isn't there a screen in most rooms already?
I have no idea what
you
we're
can
walking
just project
into.
it against the wall.
What if that they don't? What if there's like curtains or something so it wouldn't work?
Well,
why don't we just have a screen?
If you can bring then you have to bring a screen.
Well, what we can do, here's what we can do. Well, I'll talk to the guy tomorrow. He says he's going to call me tomorrow, so we'll see.
Talk to him and at least find out the situation.
We'll see if there's a screen or not.
Because like just ask if we have a projector, is there a screen?
Okay. Well, if you think that he can bring it, and if like he's not going to be there Sunday and he needs to not have it on Sunday, rather than play it during Radio BrendoMan, we could move it to some other time when we're in there because it would be cool if that would be.
Might call this episode SummerSlam Sadness.
You can call it that if you want to.
What would you prefer?
Well, there was some funny thing you said in there, like, "Oh, we should call it that." That's the name of the show, like right at the beginning.
Did I?
Yeah, but I don't remember now.
No.
Look on the thing.
I didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not listening. Did I do that? I didn't do that.
That's okay.
Like at the very beginning?
Yeah, but no, you don't have to listen.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. You said there's a good name of the show.
Yeah, for the last one. That was for the last one.
Oh, okay. I don't know that. You call it SummerSlam Sadness. That's good.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're okay.
You are calling it the SSS, though, if that's okay with you.
SummerSlam is one word.
Oh, okay.
That's even worse. Because then it's SS.
SS.
Nobody's going to.
That's fine.
Because Summertime Sadness is a play on Summertime Sadness.
Yeah, it's not a problem. I doubt people are going to read into that much. If they do, maybe we'll get some controversy going and we'll get like tons of attention. So that's cool. Cool. Well, I just let me know if it works. If not, I'll look around and see. But if that does work, and that would be something that'd be really cool. Because again, all we need it for is just I think it's like 10 minutes or something of Zach's thing. The movie. So it's like a rough cut. It's not finished, but so we have something to show. Oh, if we can show it during Radio BrendoMan, cool. If not, we'll fit it somewhere else in or whatever works out. I think this is going to be kind of a seat of our pants kind of thing.
Hold on to your butts. That's what we're telling everybody.
It's just going to be fun.
But the other thing we're telling everybody is hold on to your butts, and it's not Phil's fault.
That's right. It's good. That's what we're telling everybody, right? That's good.
Hold on to your butts, and it's not Phil's fault.
That's a good thing for everyone to know.
Remember those two things.
It's going to be great. Hold on to your butts. Yes, of course I was quick to point out. I'm just letting everyone know, like, it's beyond my control. If everything goes great, then it's I'm responsible for all of it, and if it's terrible, it's all their fault. That's all.
Spoiler: it's always Phil's fault. It's true.
Yes, but if everything's fantastic and we get 2 whole days of us doing everything, then I get credit for it. And if not, it's all their fault.
Hold on to your butts.
Well, here's the thing. I believe, honestly, that our thing is going to be fine. Whether or not we have a lot of people come because they've never fixed the schedule, I don't know. But the real question is, are they going to even be able to manage getting all the people in the building because they're so disorganized?
That is my question.
I don't know. Well, we're still live, huh? But
what?
If they're watching our YouTube stream after 4 hours or whatever.
What's up? Communicate more, please.
Yeah, send me an email, and then I won't say these things.
I think we're fine. But
yeah,
hold on. That's going to be my theme of this weekend.
Josh says, "Get a brain Moran."
Yeah, that's a famous protest sign.
Oh, is it?
There was like it was some like it was of some
idiot,
like some idiot with a sign. It's like
funny.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
I'm always amped up after the show, and then I gotta call and then I'm like, and then I get 5 hours of sleep.
Well, do it now.
Do what
Go
now?
sleep now.
I can't.
Just lay there. Stare at the ceiling in the dark.
That's when I start. That's when I can't. I don't know, my brain.
Oh, I understand. I gotta finish editing that thing tonight because I'm not gonna have time tomorrow.
Well, I'm just hopeful that Derek will be there for popsicles and we can have our triumphant popsicles return.
You can wrangle him.
Well, he's gonna be there one day, but it's getting him to stay.
That's the issue.
Which I don't know why. Oh yeah, because he was gonna be gone, but now he's not.
Yeah, what happened? I think he was like flying out of state or something.
Well, he can't. He doesn't have money to go to Montana.
Gotcha.
He was going to Montana for a wedding, and now he's not. So now he's going to Palm Springs. So he's gonna be there. The full SoCal crew.
Yeah, pretty cool. Everyone is confirmed. Yes, you do.
You better do it now.
You got to do it by tomorrow. That email, okay, he's just messing around. The email I sent you, you got it. There's a link to it.
You just fill out a thing.
It'll take you less than 30 seconds.
It took me 45 seconds.
Oh, okay, I did it faster than you. So. It really is. You click on it, you use your autofill to put your name and address in, and then you say free, and it's free.
You need to read the Josh Anderson writer.
Yeah, you got to forward that to my people.
Yeah, I didn't. I need to come. I need a writer.
Yeah.
What if we sent?
Here's my writer. Just send me an email once in a while. Let me know that you still know we exist. That's all I ask in my writer.
And I want green M&Ms.
That too, but sure. Also, put the schedule up correctly the first time, and then that's all I'm asking.
And some gummy bears.
I don't even know where that schedule came from. It's just like they just randomly
made it.
I don't know. Because that's never this, none of those things are what we discussed. I mean, the descriptions are, but other than that, the times and the placement, none of that matches any of the things we discussed.
I would also like some gummy Coke bottles.
It's good. Some wax. I'm a wax man myself.
And there was a guy, I don't know where he got him because I still haven't seen him anywhere out here, but he had the Ecto Cooler, and he was selling it for $1 a box.
Wow.
That's a really big markup.
Pretty good.
But people were buying it.
Because you can't find it. All right. It's bedtime.
It is, I guess. I don't want
to go to bed. Oh, he got his badge. See, he already did it. It's that easy. It's that easy. Yeah, it's different this year. I don't think they've had a
They're
speaker
using
one.
a different. Well, no, they did last year, but it was very top secret.
Oh, okay. So I just did a pro one last year.
Last year, the speaker one gave you a guest, and they didn't do that this year.
But this one did not.
And then I didn't even think about it. And yeah. Okay. But there is a pro reg on Kamikaze, and you should try.
But there is not a pro reg on Comic-Con Palm Springs. So hopefully when I talk to the guy tomorrow, I can get the answers to all my questions.
Panelists.
I know, but the thing is, when we show up there, okay, here we are.
We're panelists.
I know,
We're
but
on the thing.
I'm just saying it doesn't seem like they're prepared. I just don't see how that works.
It's gonna be. I'm fully prepared for a complete mess.
But our part will be fun because it's just we're getting to do our thing.
If we can get
once we're in, we're golden. It's gonna be fine.
I think it's gonna be fine.
It is. Well, the fact that he finally texted me back and said he'll call me tomorrow, that's the most communication I've had in a while. So I like it. He's probably regretting that he gave me his phone number because he's been trying to ignore me and I just call him all the time. But it's what he did. That's what happens.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
It's time.
It's time.
All right. Good night.
Night, everybody.
See you, Josh.
Later. See ya Friday, Saturday.
It's
You mean Saturday?
Friday.
See you this weekend.
And Friday.